The score of 4-1 yesterday. Let's first of all talk about how you guys came out. And it seems like your approach at the plate is to maybe get up there and start swinging the bat perhaps a little bit earlier in the count when they're up there.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we got to be in time and in rhythm. And if we are, we got to take good swings at the pitches that we see.
You made a little shift in your lineup yesterday. You had Ashley Tuiasosopo in the number 7 spot. What kind of goes into how you put your lineup together each time in that particular move right there?
Well, the opportunities for these athletes come during the week, and those that work hard and take advantage of the opportunities to get better get the opportunities. So there's a few of them that are kind of platooning right now and getting opportunities. So we'll see who's going to kind of give us an opportunity today and kind of go from there.
Caitlin Inglesby, now we've been talking a lot about her in the circle, but you can't ignore what she's doing at the plate as well. You got her in that cleanup spot for a reason, and she's been delivering. She's had RBIs in both of the regional games so far. Talk about her hitting prowess, I suppose you could say at this point.
Well, she's just a good hitter, and she puts good swings on good pitches, and she doesn't overthink it. She just gets the job done, and that's what we like about her.
Yeah. Last night, after your game was over, you had to play 2 more. Did you take in those 2 games, or what was your game plan as far as the last 2 games after you were done yesterday?
Well, we always want to be prepared for who we're going to play, so any type of information we can gain about the opponent is good information. So Cindy Ball and I came back last night for the 8 o'clock game to watch BYU play Auburn. So just got a little bit more information, checked them out in case we played Auburn, in case we played BYU. So I think we're that much more prepared today.
I thought it was about a 50-50 chance you were going to see Auburn yesterday, or today after last night's game, and they really have not had a very good regional here. I mean, they made a lot of errors and whatnot. Were you a little surprised at all that they didn't come out and play a little bit better than that?
No, I mean, BYU's a great team, and they're going to find a way to make mistakes and put the ball in play, and that's what they ended up doing against Auburn. I was a little surprised that Auburn threw their number 3 pitcher. Maybe they had an injury, whatever, but we have our own fish to fry, I guess, and we played BYU.
Hey, what about the rest of the regional, or the rest of the tournament, I should say? You guys obviously got the early start, so there wasn't a ton of action by the time you got done yesterday, but nonetheless, I know you kind of take a peek at that scoreboard a little bit. Anything around the country that stands out for you personally?
Just the teams that are competing the best at the plate and having the best pitching performances and playing solid defense are having the opportunities to win. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter what the matchup is. It's just that's how you got to play championship softball, and we hopefully prepare to play that way all year long, and we want to keep it rolling.
Well, the Pac-10's doing pretty good. I guess really no surprise there.
Nope, no surprise. Good to see that around the country, but we're really not worrying about that. We're worried about what we're doing.
And that is a game with BYU again here today. Cougars obviously going to send out a team that you're going to expect to give you your best because they have to win twice today. And are you okay with playing that same team 2 days in a row in a tournament? I know you don't have a choice. But.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's been every single time we've been in the regional for the last few years. So just kind of how this 4-team tournament winds up happening. So usually the 2 teams that win the first 2 games have the opportunity to face off the second game, and then it kind of ends up being that team ends up coming back around to finish on championship day. So just how it is. It's always nice to vary the opponent, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter who we play. We just got to play our game.
And if you win, it really doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Don't grade wins. Wins are wins.
All right, Heather. Well, best of luck today against BYU. Hopefully, we'll be moving on to the Super Regionals. Best of luck.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Once again, the Heather Tow Show brought to you by Washington Softball Camps. For more information, log on to WashingtonSoftballCamps.com. I'm back with Heather's starting lineup right after this timeout.
Since 1950, Sound Oil Company has built a reputation as a leader in the heating oil industry. Their prices and service combine to give you the best value when it comes to home heating oil. What you may not know is that Sound Oil is also a leader in air conditioning services. For complete sales, service, and installation of energy-efficient air conditioning units, you can trust Sound Oil. Find them online at soundoil.com. Sound Oil Company, keeping you comfortable year-round.
Do you remember the 1940s? Many of us don't. But there's a company in town that does. It's K.C. Martin Automotive and K.C. Martin Transmissions, established in 1948. A lot has changed since then, but choose K.C. Martin for your automotive needs and you'll still get the same professional service that folks enjoyed over 60 years ago. Their goal is still to provide the latest in technology, the highest quality, the most affordable rate, and to do it at a minimum amount of time.
K.C. Martin Automotive Service and K.C. Martin Transmission at kcmartin.com. For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Lewis, I was surfing the web, comparing other airlines' rates to Horizon Air and Alaska Airlines.
Really, Clark, and you're the one who always said...
I know, it's not about the money, I know.
You always said that Alaska and Horizon are our airlines from right here in the Northwest, and we take care of our own.
I realize that, Lewis, but I got
Clark, you always said that the 3 C's matter most.
Convenience, comfort, and quality. I know. I'm just trying to say that the prices at AlaskaAir.com are really low. But you're right, it's not about the money.
On the Clark and Lewis expedition, it wasn't about making $40 a month.
$40? I was paid $30 a month.
And worth every penny.
But
you were like a Horizon or Alaska fare at AlaskaAir.com. A tremendous value that America couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, but...
But it's not about the money, I know.
Yeah, but I...
Look, refills.
Ooh.
Find low fares and great deals on cars, hotels, vacation packages, and more. All in one easy place at AlaskaAir.com.
Oh, there you have it. Salute the mother country here on this Saturday afternoon at Huskies Softball Stadium. Welcome back. It's Mike Brown here on the pregame show. The Huskies getting ready to take on BYU in the championship round of the Seattle Regional of the NCAA tournament. Let's give you the starting lineups now, starting with the Cougars, designated as the visiting team in this ball game. Christy Delahause will lead off and play second base. In the number 2 spot, it's designated player Tifa Messerschmidt. Shortstop J.C. Clayton will bat third. In the cleanup spot, it's the catcher Jessica Fitu. Kashtian Atungi will play third and bat fifth. In the number 6 spot, it's right fielder Delaney Willard. Left fielder Carly Duckworth will bat seventh. First baseman Stacy Graham will bat eighth. In the number 9 spot, it's center fielder Jessica Dugas. And in the circle, it's right-hander Paige Affleck, a 5'11" senior from New Harmony, Utah, who comes in with a record of 26-12 and an ERA of 1.95. Affleck is making her 45th appearance and 40th start of 2011. Now for the Washington Huskies, the home team, center fielder Kimmy Pullman will lead off. She's followed by Jen Salling, the shortstop, in the number 2 spot. First baseman Nikki Williams will bat third. In the cleanup spot, pitcher Caitlin Inglesby. Third baseman Morgan Stewart will bat fifth. Catcher Shauna Wright will bat sixth. In the number 7 spot, designated player Jenna Clifton. Left fielder Victoria Haywood will bat eighth. And batting ninth is second baseman Maggie Wagner. In the starting lineup for the Huskies, but not in the batting lineup, she's defense only, is right fielder Ashley Tuiasosopo. In the circle for Washington is right-hander Caitlin Inglesby, the 6'1" freshman from Portland, Oregon, coming in with a record of 24-8 and an ERA of 2.20. Inglesby is making the 41st appearance and 25th start of her freshman season, and she's been a star in the circle and at the plate for Washington in this regional for sure. So there you have it, the starting lineups for today's ball game. Time now for me to bring in my broadcast partner, a guy who just polished off a whole box of Slim Jims in memory of Randy Macho Man Savage, who was killed in a car wreck yesterday. It's my color commentator, John Cowley. Johnny?
How come a Slim Jim doesn't make you slim?
I know.
You know, I thought I ate enough of those when I was diet of Slim Jims, I'd lose weight. It didn't work that way.
Poor old Macho Man.
Macho Man.
Eat a Slim Jim.
Eat a Slim Jim. It's good for it.
Well, we got some Macho players in this regional, I suppose, John, and one of them's warming up right now. Caitlin Inglesby has been the full real deal all weekend long, both at the plate and in the circle. I think the Huskies can expect another good performance out of her today, and it comes at a good time, the championship round, right?
It certainly does, and when you look at her numbers at the plate, she's hitting .750 for the regional. Her ERA is 1.50. 14 innings. She's given up the 3 earned runs. One was a home run yesterday to BYU. Portland State got 2 runs off her in the top of the 7th, and when the game was well in hand for the Huskies. But she's going to have to be on her game if they're going to beat BYU. This is a team that's got some offense, and they're ready to play. Their backs are up against the wall.
BYU, a slight surprise in this championship round. They were the number 3 seed, but boy, they took care of Auburn on 2 different occasions. Now trying to take care of the Huskies. Here's Christy Delahouse to lead off, and the first pitch from Inglesby misses inside. It's 1-0 on Delahouse. Washington, a beneficiary from the defense of their opposition in this regional. Portland State committing a couple errors on Thursday, and then BYU committing 3 yesterday, both leading to unearned runs in ball games. Swinging a foul away will even the count at 1-1 on Christy Delahouse.
And then, Mike, BYU was a beneficiary of errors yesterday because in the game against Auburn committed 5 errors, which led to all 4 unearned runs in the game last night.
Next pitch swung on and chopped foul up the third base line. So 1-2 on Christy Delahouse, a first-team All-Pacific Region selection earlier this week. So she's in the running for All-America honors. I'll tell you, John, Heather Tarr wouldn't say it in the pregame show, but I will. Auburn, they just completely collapsed in this regional, and that's all there is to it.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt about it. They did not play good softball.
Next delivery from Caitlin now, a check swing that is going to be appealed down to the first base umpire, John Bennett. The home plate umpire, Paul Smokey Eds, thinking that one missed the strike zone, or at least she didn't go around on it, but Shauna Wright appealing and not getting the call. So the count will be even at 2-2 on Delahouse. Right-handed hitter up there against the right-handed throwing Caitlin Inglesby. Next pitch, that swung on. Chopper hit right side. Maggie Wagner giving chase. Not going to get to that one as it dribbles out into center field for a leadoff single for BYU. That'll bring up Tifa Messerschmidt.
And for Delahouse, she's got to feel pretty good about that. That's her first hit here in the regional. She was 0 for 10 coming into that at-bat. So now with some speed on the bases, the Huskies are going to have to pay attention.
Here's the umpiring crew for today's ball game. Behind the plate, it's Smokey Eds, John Bennett up the first base line, and Ron Burkhart working the third base line. Husky infield playing in, particularly at the corners for Messerschmidt. Pretty much expecting her to sacrifice. Doesn't on the first pitch. It's a rise ball, so the count 1-0.
You look at Delahouse over there at first base. She's 8 for 8 on the season in stolen base attempts.
BYU can steal bases. At 75 coming into the game yesterday. And they got a lot of different players who can steal as well. Runner not going on this pitch, which is a foul tip into the glove of Shauna Wright to even the count at 1-1. Washington coming in with an overall record of 36-14. BYU won their 40th game of the season last night to get into this championship round. They're 40-17 overall. Beat Auburn 4-3 to knock out the Tigers. The pitch on the way, and that one just a little bit outside. 2-1. Weather conditions, not anything like they were the last 2 days. It's cloudy, chilly, and a little bit of a breeze, especially over to our left. The wind tends to blow in different directions here at Husky Softball Stadium, being alongside Lake Washington.
But it is dry, Mike.
That's what matters. The pitch. And a bunt attempt followed back to even the count at 2-2.
We see Caitlin early in ball games really try and paint those corners and figure out the strike zone for umpires, and sometimes she works deep into counts. But as the game goes along, she seems to get a little bit stronger and a little bit more dialed in on those strike zones.
The count is 2-2 on the left-handed hitting Tifa Messerschmidt. Next pitch on the way. There goes the runner, and it's swung on and fouled away. So we'll do it again with the count 2-2. The Huskies wearing their white top uniforms with the purple letters and numbers and the gold trim. They have the purple pants, white socks, and purple stirrups. Messerschmitt is at the plate, awaiting the next delivery from Caitlin Inglesby. And here she comes. Swung on and again fouled away. So still 2-2. Cougars wearing their all-blue uniforms, top and bottom, at the black socks, and the silver numbers and letters on the front and back of the jerseys. Also got the silver stripe down the side of the pants. Messerschmitt putting up a fight up there against Caitlin Inglesby, who's back into her wind now, and the pitch on the way. Swung on, ground ball under the glove of Inglesby. Maggie Wagner will glove it at second. No throw, as it kind of dribbled behind the circle and allowed everybody to get up the baselines quicker than there was any chance of the fielder getting the ball somewhere for an out. So BYU off to a good start here with runners at first and second on back-to-back singles to begin the game.
And they're 2-1 in the regional, but they have been struggling offensively, and they come in with a good hitting team, so you know sooner or later they're going to start attacking and having some success. The only play Caitlin was going to have on that play was to first base. She hasn't been hit hard yet, Mike. Those are two balls. The first one by Delahousse got out into the outfield, but that by Messerschmitt, just a dribbler back to the pitcher, just hitting the right place.
Yeah, they pretty much just hit the ball in the right place to keep the fielders from being able to generate an out. So here we go. The next hitter, Clayton, lays down a beautiful bunt. It's going to be fielded by Morgan Stewart. She throws it out into left field. The lead runner, Delahousse, coming to the plate. She is going to score, give BYU the early 1-0 lead. On the play, Clayton will move into second base, and Messerschmitt is over at third. So 1-0 BYU on the throwing error by Morgan Stewart, who's been perfect up to this point in the regional. And that's going to prompt a meeting in the circle with pitching coach Lance Glasso and the entire Husky infield.
And there were two mistakes on that, Mike, because there was no way that Ashley Tuas-Sopo was going to get the runner at home. So instead of hitting the cutoff and keeping the batter at first base, the ball came all the way into Shauna Wright, and that is what allowed Clayton to get into second base. So an error and then a mental error by the Huskies lead to that run by BYU. It's what we've seen all regional long. The team that makes the fewest mistakes is won. The Huskies are not starting out the right way right now.
Especially when you see such a good fielder like Morgan Stewart throw the ball away like she did. That was a play she's made probably 100 times in her career. Instead, the ball winds up out in right field, and Christy Delahousse winds up scoring to give BYU the 1-0 lead. They have runners at second and third, and there's nobody out here in the top of the first inning. And the dangerous Jessica Fitu to step in. She is the cleanup hitter.
She's another one who is just 1 for 10 in regional play, so she's looking to warm up.
First pitch on the way to Fitu, swung on and missed. 0-1 on the catcher, who leads BYU in home runs with 12. At least she's tied for the lead with Castian Atungi, who's on deck, and then also has 64 RBIs. Very much in the lead for BYU.
And Atungi has 2 of those home runs in regional play.
Next pitch on the way to Fitu. That's outside. And count now 1-1. They're not going to walk Fitu to get to Castian Atungi, I'll tell you that. They want to try to get an out right here.
And if they can get Fitu, they may walk Atungi to try and get to Willard.
Fitu 1 for 3 against the Huskies yesterday. Had a nice hit back up the middle. Now the next delivery. That swung on. Chopper hit up the third base line. Going to be ruled a foul ball as Morgan Stewart had the ball come down in her glove just on the foul side of the third base line.
And she had the ball between third base and the runner at third, so they were going to get the lead runner if that ball stayed fair, but no, she fielded it in foul territory. The right call by the umpires.
Huskies need an out. BYU has runners at second and third, no one out, and a run in already here in the first. Next pitch on the way from Caitlin. That swung on and fouled back, so the count 1-2 on Jessica Fitu. Fitu, a senior, and like Delahousse, a first-team All-Pacific Region selection earlier this week. Good player, trying to go out with a bang here in her senior season. Huskies are hoping for other things, like an infield pop-up.
or a strikeout.
The pitch swung on and missed. And there it is right there, John, as you call it, for out number 1. And a big one here for Caitlin Inglesby and the Huskies. So now a decision. Do you walk Castian Atungi, who's been red hot in this regional for sure? In fact, she went deep off of Inglesby yesterday. A solo home run leading off the 5th inning. First base is open. They could walk her and load them up for the number 6 hitter, Willard, who has not been nearly as good. First pitch, a called strike, and they're going to pitch to her.
Now she's 4 for 7 with 4 runs scored, 3 RBIs, and 2 home runs here in the regional. So they'll pitch to her, but they've got to be careful. And it was a mistake pitch that Caitlin left up that Atungi was able to hit. It was a rise ball, and she just went up and got it.
Next delivery on the way to the third baseman. That's a change. That's in for a called strike. Good call right there as Caitlin Inglesby is out in front 0-2 on the dangerous Castian Atungi.
It was a good-looking changeup from Caitlin because not only did she take the pace up, but she was able to get it into the strike zone for called strike 2.
Now Inglesby looking to finish off the hitter right here. The pitch. Outside, there's a throw down to third base, and they got the runner down there. Messerschmidt getting a little too far off the bag. And Gordon Eakin, the head coach who's coaching at third base, is not happy about that call from Ron Burkhardt. He's kind of in his face right now, but Messerschmidt is going to have to head to the dugout as she is out number 2 of the inning.
Nice throw by Shauna Wright. We've seen her. She leads the Pac-10 in pickoffs, and she just showed why. Comes up throwing a great play by Morgan Stewart. She had the ball in her glove, prevented the runner from getting to the bag, got the out.
2 away, and 2 strikes on the hitter right here. Here comes the pitch from Caitlin, swung on and fouled out of play. I think Eakin was arguing obstruction because Morgan Stewart was between the runner and the bag, but the ball was in her hand, and I'm telling you, she ran right into her. She's out.
If you've got the ball in your hand, you're allowed to be in the base path.
Yep.
And she did, and she was, and it was the right call.
So runner at second, 2 out. Next pitch from Inglesby now on the way, and that one bounces in. Stopped nicely by Shauna Wright behind the plate. And the count will be 2-2 now on Castian Atungi.
And that out is huge because not only do you get the second out of the inning, but you erase a base runner just 60 feet from scoring with a very dangerous hitter at the plate.
And if you get the hitter, it's going to turn out to be a not so bad inning, considering what the situation was at one point. The 2-2 pitch, and that's a called strike 3, and the Huskies get exactly what they wanted after that run came in, and they had runners on second and third and nobody out. But BYU does take the lead on 1 run, 2 hits, an error, and a runner left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the first. The score, BYU 1. The Huskies coming to bat.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com.
Well, the Huskies escaped major damage in the top half of the first inning and will come to bat for the first time in the ballgame. They did give up a run, but BYU had a run in when runners on at second and third, nobody out. And the Huskies kept them right there at 1 run by getting some good work defensively and in the circle. And now they get to come to bat and maybe try to get even or go ahead here in the bottom of the first inning. John, I'll tell you what, that was some good work by the Huskies considering how bad this game started.
Oh, with the error which led to the run, and then you have the most dangerous hitter in the BYU lineup up there in Atungi, and they chose not to pitch around her. They didn't. Huskies hardly ever intentionally walk anybody, but they didn't pitch around her. They went and attacked her, and then that pickoff by Shauna was huge. And, you know, this might not be so bad because sometimes the Huskies will ease into a ball game offensively. This may just give them a jolt, and they understand if they want to win this game, they've got to get out right now.
BYU has shown that they are a team to be respected. There's no question about it. They're not ranked, and they're the number 3 seed in this regional, but, boy, they have come to play. It isn't like they got blown out by the Huskies yesterday. It was 4-1, and I think BYU feels that they maybe should have even won that game. They committed 3 errors, led to 2 unearned runs. Here's Kimmy Pullman to lead things off, and she takes a pitch in for a called strike, so 0-1 on Kimmy Pullman. Paige Affleck, the 5'11" senior from New Harmony, Utah, a right-hander, is in the circle again for BYU. Here she comes to the plate with the next pitch to Pullman, and this one misses inside 1-1. Affleck with a record of 26-12 and an ERA of 1.95 this season.
She does a nice job of moving the ball around in the zone, and she has that changeup that she can throw a strike at any count.
Next delivery swung on and popped out of play. So 1-2 on Pullman. Affleck, a second-team All-Pacific Region selection. She's hoping that this is not her last day of college softball. Well, it's going to be the last day for a group of seniors on one side or the other, that's for sure.
She was the Mountain West Pitcher of the Year.
Misses with the next pitch, a drop. So 2-2 on Pullman. She's also the Mountain West Conference's all-time leader in victories. Not just BYU's, but the conferences. Affleck now back into her line. Here comes her pitch, swung on and fouled back by Pullman again. So 2-2 still on Kimmy. Kimmy's racked up the awards quite impressively again this year. First team All Pac-10, first team All Pacific Region. Leads the Huskies with a .437 batting average. Been a force to be reckoned with ever since she landed on campus in 2009. Checks her swing on the next pitch, which is up high. And the count full now on Pullman. We've seen the Huskies swing a little bit earlier in the count as the regional has progressed, and Kimmy's been up there swinging. They're fouling them off and watching some pitch sail out of the strike zone. So that's why the count is full here. Infield playing into the corners, and the next pitch is inside. And Pullman's going to get on base right away and get something going for the Huskies.
And Husky fans used to seeing Kimmy Pullman have the advantage out there on the base paths, but yesterday we saw Jessica Fitu throw her out on an attempted steal. So I have a feeling that Coach Heather Tarr may be putting the game in motion a little bit differently, maybe hit and run.
I don't know. She could also go right back and give Pullman another shot. I mean, you're talking greatness against greatness out there. Here's Jen Salling. First pitch to her, called strike. Pullman not going, and the count 0-1.
The other thing you look is if you can guess right and get that changeup, then Kimmy gets an extra half second, and that makes it easier to steal. But Fitu has a gun.
Infield playing in pretty much all the way around, sort of medium depth at short and second as the changeup is down a little bit low. 1-1, just missed to even the count.
Had to go and do the math yesterday, and coming into the regional, Fitu had thrown out 42% of runners who had attempted to steal against her, so she's solid.
Next delivery from Affleck now, swung on and missed. There goes the runner. Throw on down, way high. In fact, Clayton at short made a nice diving leap to get that ball and keep it from going out into the outfield. Otherwise, Pullman could be at third base right now.
Nice job by Jen Salling on that, too. She swung at that pitch as much as a protective swing as it was trying to get the ball. It was up a little high out of the zone, but I think that swing by Jen kept Fitu just back enough that allowed Kimmy to get in there to second base.
And she does so with her 25th stolen base of the season. That leads the Huskies. So Pullman on at second in scoring position with nobody out here in the first. Huskies trying to get that run back from BYU here in the bottom. The count is 1-2 on Jen Salling, who gets a quick word from J.T. D'Amico, the first base coach for Washington. Let's see what happens here. Infield will play back a little bit more. Next pitch, swung on. There's a fly ball in the left field. Should be playable. Now it's going to drop in for a base hit. There goes Pullman. Had to hold up. Now draws a throw. And right behind her, Jen Salling, never slowing down around first base. winds up at second, and the Huskies now got something going with runners at second and third, nobody out.
Mike, you look at this BYU outfield, and they play very, very deep. They are 10 yards from the warning track, and when you play that deep, you get a pop fly like that, there is absolutely no way that they were going to be able to get to that ball. And Kimmy played it safe, did not take off till she saw it was going to fall. Then when the throw went into third base, Jen Salling, the smart softball player she is, just took off for second.
Salling going to be credited with a single and then taking second on the throw to third base to try to get Pullman. There's a situation right there, perhaps, John, where the left fielder, Duckworth, maybe should have thrown to second base and keep Salling over at first, just like the reverse was true in the top of the first.
The one thing about that, though, is with Kimmy Pullman's speed, if you throw behind her, she may have enough speed to get home on that. So it's a little bit more of a dangerous play thrown behind a runner with her speed and 60-foot bases. I think in baseball, traditionally, yeah, you want to throw behind the runner to prevent it, but at a 60-foot base and that kind of speed, it's a little more dangerous than probably what she was thinking. Kimmy did have to slide in. She got a little bit of a later jump, and so I think Duckworth thought she might even have Kimmy.
Well, after a little conference in the circle for BYU, Nikki Williams steps in now. Here's the first pitch to the first baseman, and it misses down low. 1-0. Okay, it's one thing to give yourself a chance. It's another thing to come through when you have a chance. And let's see if the Huskies can do it here with Williams and then Inglesby due up. Nikki's been getting the job done in this regional, no question about it.
4 RBIs already.
Next pitch, and that one a called strike. Got the outer half of the plate to even the count at 1-1 on Nikki Williams. 5'9" junior from Mission Viejo, California, and a first-team selection, both all Pac-10 and all Pacific Regional. Next delivery now, there's a swing and a foul at the plate, right off the end of the bat. And the count 1-2 on Williams. Williams homered against Portland State on Thursday, the 14th dinger of the year. And then yesterday against these BYU Cougars, he delivered a 2 RBI single in the 5th inning. Also scored a run and was credited with a stolen base in the ballgame.
Situation just like this, runners at second and third, and she had a changeup with 2 strikes she put right back up the middle.
Pitch swung on and popped up high. It's going to get behind the backstop and out of play. It's waiting for it to land on the press box roof here, John.
Actually, I should say bases were loaded on that play. She got the 2 RBIs because Jen Salling moved from first to third, and when she was at third, she tried to score. When the throw went into second base, we got thrown out at home.
The count is 1-2 on Nikki Williams. Huskies are on at second and third. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a big strikeout for Paige Affleck for sure, getting Nikki Williams swinging for out number 1. That'll bring up Caitlin Inglesby.
Well, Mike, she hasn't gone to the changeup as much early in this ball game, trying to show the Huskies something a little bit different than really working down and away in the zone, and that's where she got Nikki.
So, Inglesby steps in, the first pitch, down low. That'll make the count 1-0 on Caitlin, who's also been getting it done, batting .411 overall this year with 11 homers and 36 RBIs. And yesterday, she came through with an RBI double in the 7th inning. Next pitch from Affleck now, and it's a called strike right down the heart of the plate.
Caitlin's regional numbers hitting .750. She's 3 for 4. She's got the double and 3 RBIs, so she's definitely getting it done at the plate in this region.
Here's Paige Affleck into her wind, and this pitch is going to miss down low, make it 2-1. Yep, Inglesby with a 2 RBI single in the first game against Portland State, and then the RBI double yesterday against these BYU Cougars. Cougs lead it 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first, but the Huskies have runners on at second and third and 1 out. Next pitch to Inglesby. That's low and outside, so a nice hitter's count right here at 3-1. They could pitch around her and put her on at first to set up the force all the way around. That's very conceivable. This could be one of those intentional walks that we're in progress with right now. Let's see. Next delivery from Affleck. Swung on and missed. Boy, she went after her right there. Inglesby couldn't catch up with it, and the count is now full.
And again, working the lower part of the zone. She's throwing her curveball. It's hitting the outside part of the plate. Down.
All right, here we go again with the count full, and the pitch low and outside. Well, Inglesby does wind up at first after all, and it's going to be Morgan Stewart's turn at the plate. Morgan's been doing okay in this regional to this point. She's hitting both games.
She's 286. She's 2 for 7, and she has that triple against Portland State, sent it all the way to the wall. And she hits one that deep, it's going to score the tying run with runner at third and less than 2 out.
So the first pitch on the way to Affleck going to back off the rubber now. She wants time, and she does get it.
She hadn't brought her hands together yet, so she could back off.
Bases are loaded for Washington. They trail it 1-0 here in the first. First pitch swinging. Morgan Stewart hits a line drive that's just fouled by a couple of feet down the right field line. That would have gotten 2 home for sure, and possibly Inglesby scoring, although probably not. One way or the other, they don't get any runs, and we'll have to do it again with the count 0-1. So Stewart at the plate. A member of that 2009 National Championship team. Did exceptionally well in Oklahoma City that year. The changeup now is in for a called strike, and quickly Affleck out in front of Stewart, 0-2.
I think that's only the third changeup she's thrown. Only the second one that's made it into the strike zone.
Now Affleck back into her line. The pitch. Another change that's way up high, and the count 1-2. Stewart batting .276 this year. She has 7 home runs and 28 RBIs. Up there with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. BYU leading 1-0. Next pitch from Affleck. Swung on, ground ball right side. Could get a run in here. It's going to be fielded by the second baseman, Della Husey, rather. And she'll go to first to get the out on Morgan Stewart. And the run comes in to score as Kimmy Pullman steps on the plate. We're tied at 1-1.
And with 2 strikes, Morgan Stewart protecting the plate. It was a pitch. She took something off on the outside part of the plate she's been working. Morgan just went with it. Didn't hit it very hard, but it was hard enough to get it to the second baseman, but soft enough she didn't have a play at home. So with Kimmy Speed able to tie up the ball game, nice situational hitting, way to protect the play.
2 outs and runners at second and third for Shauna Wright. The pitch. Now that's low and outside. Shauna's been showing some signs of progress at the plate for sure.
Getting more and more comfortable. She's just 1 for 6 in the regional, but you like her swings and her plate appearances. She looks much, much better than she did midseason.
Hoping to come through for Washington right here with 2 outs. Pitch in for a called strike. It's 1-1 on Shauna Wright, the 5'9" freshman from Lancaster, California.
It's great to see the Huskies battle back and tie this game up, but with this kind of an inning, you'd love to see him take the lead, and it's going to take a 2-out RBI.
The pitch, again a called strike. So Shauna's behind 1-2. Singled in yesterday's ball game against Paige Affleck and BYU.
And it was on the changeup. Shauna stayed back, put it up the middle like you're supposed to, like a lot of the girls have done.
Next delivery, swung on and missed. So Affleck gets out of a jam of her own, giving up 1 run, but at least the Huskies tie up the ball game. We'll go to the second with the score. Washington 1, BYU 1.
A manager relies on a series of signs to send his message to the players on the field. Your business needs more than hand signals to get its message out. That's why business leaders throughout the area rely on Tubart Group. From the initial design to final installation, their knowledgeable staff can show you the most creative solutions to fit your needs and your budget. So call the pros the Huskies use, the design experts at Tubart Group at 206-223-1122, or log on to www.tubart.com.
The key to winning for the Huskies is teamwork. It's the same when seeking legal counsel. When it comes to personal injury, automobile accident, and workers' compensation representation, more people are teaming up with the law office of William Hochberg. They have experience you can trust, and they'll take the time to explain your rights. Find them online at hochberglaw.net or visit them in downtown Edmonds, where they have plenty of free parking. The law office of William Hochberg. Help is on the way.
We're all tied up as we go to the top of the second inning, 1-1 between Washington and BYU. Welcome back to Husky Softball Stadium, fans. It's Mike Brown here, along with John Colley on 1150 AM KKNW. Both teams squeezing a run across in their respective halves of the first inning. Both pitchers pitching out of serious jams in those innings. And now we'll move on to the second inning. Caitlin Inglesby hoping to get things back to a little bit more normalcy, I suppose. She has been outstanding both in the circle and at the plate for the Huskies. John and I are being asked to vote on the all-tournament team. And if I had to pick an MVP right now, John, I don't think there's any question it's Caitlin Inglesby.
Oh, there'd be no doubt about that. And the question is, who is it at the end of the day? And that's really what matters, because there's one, if not two games to be played, and that's what we've got to pay attention to. But Caitlin doing a great job. BYU's already got more hits today or the same number of hits in the first inning today. They got all of yesterday's game. So Caitlin just got to bear down, find that strike zone, get ahead of the hitters, and then trust that defense.
Defense has committed an error in this ball game, first of the regional for Washington.
I had one yesterday with Jen Sallin.
I better check myself. And that one came late in the game, didn't end up hurting them at all. But they do have one today, a throwing error by Morgan Stewart. So we're tied at 1 as Delaney Willard will step in to lead off here in the second. First pitch to the right fielder, down low, 1-0. Had a nice talk with Caitlin Inglesby's parents the last couple of nights. Tell me some stories about her when they were growing up, or when she was growing up.
I like the story about how when she was in the hospital with her broken nose, that there was another athlete from University of Washington down the hall getting their nose fixed. It was Kate's roommate.
What are the chances? Huh? Swinging a line drive foul down the right field line. Count as 1-1. Most people know that Caitlin Inglesby is 70% hearing impaired. And both her parents were telling me growing up, her mom calls it the triple threat. At one point, she was wearing hearing aids, braces, and glasses.
Oh, no. Kids can be so cruel.
Next pitch to Willard. Swung on and missed. Taking a little bit off of that one was Inglesby as Willard got out in front of it. Now she's behind 1-2.
You know, Caitlin's change isn't exactly the same class as is Paige Affleck's, and Courtney even said as much. But it was enough to keep the hitters off balance because she throws so hard.
Next delivery now, swung on and fouled away, so Willard stays alive for one more anyway. Willard, a junior, batting .266. Got some power, 11 homers and 41 RBIs. Left-handed hitter up there facing the right-handed throwing Caitlin Inglesby. Now Caitlin back into her line. Here comes the pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Got fooled on that one badly. First out of the inning as she strikes out swinging. That is the third strikeout already for Caitlin Inglesby and brings up Carly Duckworth.
Carly Duckworth we didn't see yesterday because they started the local product from Everett. And Duckworth is an all-conference player, so they took the all-conference player out and allowed the local player from Everett to get in there.
Alexandra Hudson.
Thank you. I was finding her.
She's on that roster somewhere.
Getting old, got to get out the reading glasses to find him on the roster now.
Pitch on the way from Inglesby now, swung on and fouled back, so we're even at 1-1 on Carly Duckworth. Today's one of those days, weather-wise, that makes people that live around here say it rains all the time. It's not raining, but it looks like it's going to rain. And that's usually the case here. Of course, the past 6 months it hasn't been, but in most years. Swinging a foul off the leg of Duckworth. So the count's still 1-2 on the hitter.
It's a little lighter here than it was down south on my way up. We had more raindrops down there, and the clouds were a little denser, a little darker. So looks like we're not going to have any trouble getting ball games in today. It's darker, the lights are on.
What do you mean ball games?
Ball game. Ball game.
We're hoping for one game here today. Here's the next pitch to Duckworth. Swung on, fly ball right field. Ashley Tuiasosopo backing up a few steps and makes the catch for out number 2. That'll bring up Stacy Graham, the first baseman. Yeah, temperature probably around 52 degrees or so. It's definitely overcast. There's no blue sky anywhere to be seen. and some grayish clouds for the most part above Husky Softball Stadium. Really not much of a wind to speak of. A little breeze pushing the flags around here, but really comfortable conditions for playing a softball game.
Definitely no complaints.
First pitch to Stacy Graham. He's going to miss outside 1-0. Graham, the first baseman, coming in with a .275 average. 1 homer, 15 RBIs. Left-handed hitter up there.
Mike, you nailed it. 52 degrees.
How about that? Just took a guess.
Human thermometer.
The pitch. Swing and a one-hopper, now a foul down the third base line. Looked like Morgan Stewart might grab it before it went foul, but couldn't get there, and the count will be 1-1.
Smokey Edge was not very emphatic in that call. You're looking down, waiting for a little more from him, saying foul ball, but batter came back to the box, so definitely was foul.
Another decent crowd here at Husky Softball Stadium. Try to get you an attendance figure a little bit later on. We will get one today. The pitch swung on and fouled away, so it's now 1-2 on Stacy Graham. Yesterday we couldn't pass along an attendance figure because they do things by sessions, and we had to wait to the end of the session, which was at the end of the third game, and they finally announced it at 1,278. Huskies played before 1,035 on Friday, or check that, Thursday. The pitch swung on, fly ball lifted into left field, and Victoria Hayward coming to make the catch and retire the side here in the second. 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the inning. The score: Washington 1, BYU 1.
For the second time in its 16-year history, Pioneer Radio and Sports relocated its offices. And just like the first time, when it was time to make the move, there was only one call to make: Mitchell Moving and Storage. They helped Pioneer prepare for the move ahead of time, got it done in a day, and the company had minimal downtime. Here's Pioneer President and General Manager Mark Meininger.
Let's face it, moving isn't fun. It's especially unnerving when you're moving an entire office of computers, furniture, file cabinets, and specialized equipment. I had my hands full with our move. The one thing I didn't have to worry about was Mitchell. They made it easy. Every person I spoke with and met was friendly and helpful, from the front office staff to the guys on the day of the move to the follow-up personnel. In fact, the move went so smoothly that I had Mitchell handle a personal move for me as well. Nobody likes moving, but whether you're a homeowner or a business owner like me, you won't go wrong with Mitchell Moving and Storage.
For your next move, whether it's across the street or across the country, you can rely on Mitchell. Find out more at mitchellmoving.com. Mitchell Moving and Storage, your home team movers and loyal fans of your Diamond Dogs.
There's the Husky Band in the background playing and entertaining the fans here at Husky Softball Stadium as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Husky Band, 15 members strong out there beyond the center field wall. Watching the Huskies along with the rest of the fans in a 1-1 deadlock ball game as Washington comes to bat in the bottom of the second inning. Jenna Clifton, Victoria Hayward, and Maggie Wagner due up here in the second as Heather Tarr's dad, Victor, getting the crowd doing the standard "Go Huskies" chant down there. He does a pretty good job getting that crowd going, doesn't he?
He does. He was warming up in Corvallis, getting the Husky fans at the OSU game started, now leading them here in the regional.
Here's Jenna Clifton taking a pitch inside. Clifton getting the start as the designated player in this ball game. She pinch hit in yesterday's game. And now getting her first start at the regional. Next pitch on the way to Jenna. Check swing. It's up high. They're going to peel down to the first base umpire, John Bennett. He says not. She did not go around. So the count will be 2-0 on Clifton. Clifton, a 5'6" junior from Glendale, Arizona. The only state of Arizona player on the Husky roster. Next delivery now. And that's going to miss inside. So Paige Affleck not finding the strike zone here to start off the bottom of the second inning. Each team scoring their lone run in the first. Now Affleck with their next delivery. And that one right over the heart of the plate, as you'd expect on 3-0. And as you'd expect, Clifton was taken all the way.
I think both teams are thinking they should have scored more than just the one in first inning.
No doubt.
Huskies had the right players up, and
There's a swing and a foul back. Yeah, BYU had a run in and runners on at second and third, nobody out. Got just the one. Then the Huskies had runners at second and third and ended up scoring just one run after none were out. Swing and a miss, and then I'll retire Jenna Clifton. She is the third strikeout victim of Paige Affleck already in the ballgame. And on we go to Victoria Hayward, the left fielder.
Affleck doing a nice job with a very different approach than we saw from Game 1, different approach than we saw her take against BYU. Really working the ball in and out, staying down, limiting the number of changeups she's throwing.
First pitch to Hayward, swung on and grounded foul up the first baseline. Victoria batting .292 this season overall, but she has been struggling at the plate in the regional. 0 for 3 yesterday with a couple of strikeouts, and 1 for 3 on Thursday. Check that, 0 for 3. As the next pitch is in for a called strike.
And the pitch that's really given Victoria problems here late in the season is the pitch for the lefty on the outside part of the plate, just not seeing it as well as you'd like her to.
Count is 0-2 now, and the next delivery, a check swing. She just got a piece of it and fouled it off. So she stays alive for one more.
That was a good changeup by Affleck, and Victoria did just a nice job. She's at the front of the box, put her bat up, made enough contact to give herself another pitch to look at.
Hayward, the left-handed hitter, awaiting the next pitch from Affleck. Here it comes. It's swung on and missed. So back-to-back swinging strikeouts to begin the second inning of play. And so far, Affleck is matching Caitlin Inglesby out for out in this ball game. Let's see if Maggie Wagner can get something going with 2 out and nobody on here in the second inning. Maggie, another left-handed slap hitter up there for head coach Heather Tarr. Has the infield plane in all the way around, tries to bunt, now pulls the bat out of the way, but it's in for a called strike anyway, 0-1. Maggie from Woodinville, one of 2 Woodinville High School products on the roster, the other being Ashley Tuiasosopo. And the pitch. Swing and a line drive foul up the third base line.
Maggie is having a good regional. She's 2 for 5. She does have a run scored.
In the hole right now at 0-2. Affleck has really sharpened her game here in the second inning, although she started off 3-0 to Jenna Clifton before getting her striking out. Trying to do the same with Maggie Wagner right here. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And that'll do it for the Huskies. 1, 2, 3. All 3 batters strike out. And we go to the third with the score still the Cougars 1, the Huskies 1.
Are you a building owner, engineer, or contractor in the industrial and commercial marketplace? CM Hoskins Company is your source for vibration isolation, seismic restraint, thermometer gauges, and accessories. CM Hoskins Company, in the business of vibration isolation and seismic restraint of commercial and industrial heating and ventilating equipment since 1976. Put our wealth of knowledge and experience to work for you. Call 206-366-1100.
Craving the flavor of the big city? Don't want to make the drive, hassle with parking, or pay the premium? Then stop by 272 Grill and Bar in Covington. We're an upscale East Side restaurant bringing the flavors of downtown's finest restaurants to Covington. Come early for our bistro-style breakfast, have a quick and delicious lunch, dine the night away for dinner, or relax with friends in our bar with live music Fridays and Saturdays. Find us at 272grillandbar.com or visit us in Covington off Kent Kangley.
Hey, Husky fans, now more than ever, staying in good financial shape is important. At Edward Jones, they have a lineup of financial solutions to help you throughout your life, from tax-advantaged investments to long-term care insurance and life insurance as well. Husky alum and All-Century baseball team member Dwayne Covey can help you out. Just get a hold of him, Dwayne Covey and Edward Jones, member SIPC. Big hi to Dwayne Covey, if you happen to be listening out there, Dwayne. Always good to talk to you, which I have done on several occasions. Proud sponsor of Husky softball. Tied up 1-1 here as we go to the top of the third inning. Washington and BYU battling in the championship round of the Seattle Regional of the NCAA tournament. The winner of today's championship round will advance to the Super Regional against the winner of the regional going on in Columbia, Missouri. That hosted by the 5th-ranked Missouri Tigers, or the 5th-seeded Missouri Tigers anyway. I'll have John get us updated on what's going on there. Not just scores, but weather, I think. Top of the lineup for BYU, Christy Delahousie swinging and missing on the first pitch delivered by Caitlin Inglesby. Check that, it's Jessica Dugas, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for BYU.
They do all look alike, Mike.
I was looking at the other side. I was looking at the Husky side, looking, we're going to the top of the lineup. Next delivery now to Dugas, and that swung on. Line drive right into the glove of Caitlin Inglesby for out number 1. Oh, Caitlin, when she throws the ball, she always turns sideways toward the plate. That's been the case ever since she got hit in the face back in fall ball. But she can get the glove around back there, and she did right there for out number 1.
Well, Heather Tarr talks about her having great hand-eye coordination. She just showed it right there, moved the glove, and got that soft liner back at her. Wasn't hit too hard, but looked like it was going to get by her. No.
Now here's Delahousie taking a pitch down in the dirt, 1-0. Delahousie singled and scored in the first when BYU came out and really put the pressure on the Huskies early on. They had runners that had run in and runners at second and third, nobody out. But that's as far as they got. Next pitch from Caitlin. Now that's a called strike, 1-1.
And that was the first hit of the regional for Delahousie. Comes in hitting .289, but obviously the leadoff hitter for the Cougars. Struggling earlier, but came through that first inning.
Now Caitlin taking her time before now getting back into her wind, and the pitch it is on the outside corner. Smokey Eds took a little bit of time coming out of his crouch to indicate the strike call, so it's 1-2.
Interesting. She had her hand and the hands were together, and she was turned to the side when she was shaking off Shauna Wright and still able to throw a strike. Great concentration.
Next delivery, up a little bit high. Delahousie laying off the rise to even the count at 2-2.
It's hard to do. It's like a golf swing when you hit something in the back, and when you come through, you normally slice it or something because it throws off your rhythm. Caitlin able to focus through and throw a strike that last pitch.
Now the 2-2. Change swung on, line drive to second base. Maggie Wagner just backs up a couple of steps and makes the catch for out number 2. John, what's going on in Columbia, Missouri?
Well, nothing yesterday because the weather forced them all into action today, so they got up early and started. DePaul and Indiana went at it, and DePaul came out victorious, 2-1. And then following that, Missouri just put a spanking on Illinois State. They beat them 12-3 in 5 innings. And now DePaul and Missouri in that winner's game. It's the bottom of the 10th in a 1-1 tie.
Wow, DePaul giving them a battle. First pitch on the way to Messerschmidt, misses up high, 1-0. So the winner of that regional will play the winner of this regional in the Super Regionals. That'll be next weekend. It'll be either Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday.
Husky fans pulling for DePaul because there'd be a good chance the regional would be here if DePaul wins.
Next pitch, outside. If Missouri wins, they will host for sure. So there's a chance Missouri could not come out of the region and the Huskies would not host if Washington this region?
They would be the higher seed. It depends on, you're assuming that they've put in the bid to host and all of that would go in. But, yes, I'm certain the Huskies would host if Missouri does not win.
Next delivery. And that's a called strike. I'm pretty sure the Huskies did put in for the Super Regional because Karen Babler told me, well, if you're going to do one, you might as well do them both.
Makes sense.
Yeah, really.
I mean, you've got all the necessary equipment. Everybody's in place. They've done a great job hosting this regional, getting information, keeping all the different teams happy.
Now the 2-1. That swung on and fouled away. So we're even again on Tifa Messerschmidt, who singled back in the first.
It's the very neutral atmosphere where the NCAA takes the W out of the outfield, puts their logo in. Only signage are NCAA signs. In fact, the signs on the scoreboard for the advertisers are covered up during postseason play. That's how the NCAA runs things.
Those are the rules if you're going to host. Here comes the pitch. It's swung on and missed. They're going to actually appeal down to the third base umpire, Ron Burkhardt, and he says Messerschmitt did not go around. Boy, I'll tell you, it looked like she did to me, and BYU may have gotten a break right there.
Where's Bloom? We need Bloom over there because he was ringing everybody up for the swings. Ron Burkhardt obviously just means he didn't see it. If you don't see it, you can't call it. Burkhardt didn't.
So we'll try it again with the count full. Here comes the pitch. It's swung on and fouled back by Messerschmitt, staying alive up there against Caitlin Inglesby.
Asked an umpire before the game, Mike, about that specifically. What are they looking for? And it's one of two things. Either the wrist break, if the wrist come through, or if the bat gets all the way through the zone past the plate. So even if you don't break the wrist, but if the bat gets through the zone, they're going to call that as a swinging strike as well.
The count is full on Titha Messerschmitt. Here comes the pitch. It's down low, and she's going to be awarded first base on the base on balls issued by Caitlin Inglesby. Inglesby had retired 7 straight up to that point. So a runner on at first and 2 out for the number 3 hitter, J.C. Clayton.
The Huskies are thinking it should have been 8 in a row because it certainly did look like Messerschmitt went around.
Clayton got on by way of a throwing error by Morgan Stewart back in the first. A rare throwing error on that particular play where she tried to bunt her way out there, at least sacrifice the runner's own. Here comes the pitch. It's swung on and missed. 0-1 on J.C. Clayton, the shortstop.
Shauna Wright certainly has the respect of BYU because the Cougars love to run. You look at overall on the season, 76 of 94 stolen base attempts, but they're not trying to take off on the combination of Caitlin Inglesby and Shauna Wright.
Next pitch on the way. Swing and a miss again. 0-2 quickly on J.C. Clayton. You know, most lineups you hear about how the number 1 and 2 hitters are getting on base to set the table for the number 3, 4, and 5. Gordon Eakin seems to go one player further.
Yes.
Their top 3 set the table. I mean, J.C. Clayton is hitting .368 to lead the team. No homers. 27 RBIs. She is not a power hitter. More of a slap hitter. The pitch. And that one just misses outside. 1-2 on Clayton. Runner on at first, 2 out. We're in the top of the third in a tie ball game, 1-1 between Washington and BYU. Championship round. BYU has to win 2 today to advance. Huskies just have to win 1.
They prefer the first one.
And the next pitch is a little bit outside. So we're even at 2-2. Wind kicking up a little bit over to our right. Still more of a breeze than a wind. So still pretty comfortable here for the most part, as long as you got on a long sleeve shirt.
Or short sleeve shirt, and they're in the booth.
The pitch. Swing, a high chopper to Jen Salling. Going to glove it and not make a throw. She faked the throw to first, thinking she might get the lead runner trying to swerve around second base. And Messerschmitt did not bite. And BYU's inning stays alive. They now have runners at first and second with 2 out. And the dangerous Jessica Fitu coming up.
Go back to that non-called swing by Ron Burkhardt down there at the third baseline. Kept this inning going for BYU, and to their credit, they're taking advantage. That was a nice play by Jen. She almost got Messerschmitt rounding the base, but couldn't get her off.
First pitch to Fitu. Outside is a throw down to first, trying to get the runner off the bag. Clayton dives back in. Clayton credited with an infield single on the high chopper to short. So BYU with runners at first and second. Fitu, the catcher, at the plate. She has had a tough time in the regional and struck out swinging back in the first, so she's 0 for 1. The count is 1-0 on Jessica Fitu. Next pitch from Inglesby. A change swung on. Ground ball hit to short. There's Salling going to glove it and throw to first right on the money, showing her Defensive Player of the Year and the Pac-10 ability, and gets the Huskies out of the third inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on for BYU in the third. We go to the bottom of the inning. We're still tied at 1-1.
When your car needs service, you can trust the certified master technicians at Northwest Automotive. Whether your car needs repairs or just a routine oil change, the professionals at Northwest Automotive have the skill and experience to do the job right. Experience total auto care with the Northwest difference. Personal service, skilled technicians, and a nationwide warranty through AC Delco, valid at 12,000 locations in the U.S. and Canada. Northwest Automotive, proud to have served Husky fans for the last 20 years. See them online at cardocs.com, at cardocs.com.
Are you looking for a late model car, pickup, SUV, or van? Then why not try the James G. Murphy Company Auctioneers? All of our vehicles are sold with no minimum bids or buyer's premium. And our next auction features over 200 late model vehicles. So don't miss this opportunity to bid on the vehicle of your choice. The James G. Murphy Company is located just off Bothell Way on 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore.
For more information about our next auction, call 425-486-1246 or see us on the web at murphyauction.com.
Let's move on to the bottom of the third inning, shall we? A tied ball game, 1-1 between BYU and Washington here at Husky Softball Stadium. I'm Mike Brown along with John Cowley on 1150 AM KKNW, and we'll be with you as long as the Huskies are still alive here in the postseason. And, John, hopefully it winds up in Oklahoma City again.
I keep telling people it's my favorite place to be this time of year.
That's where the World Series is held every year. There was one exception, 1996. It was held in Columbus, Georgia, because that's where the Olympic facility for softball was located that particular year, and they thought they just shifted over there and kind of break in the facility.
And the Huskies had a big role in that. They played for the national championship that year against Arizona, falling in, but at that time was just a one game. They didn't have the best 2 out of 3 series the way they do now. And Huskies played for the championship. That was just 4 years into the Teresa Wilson reign.
And it was their first year in the World Series, going all the way to the title game before losing to Arizona by 1 run. Kimmy Pullman will lead off for Washington here in the third. Pullman got on by way of a walk and ended up scoring the only Husky run of the ball game to this point. Takes a pitch outside, 1-0.
Kimmy stole a base, showing why Heather Tarr's a coach and not me, because I've seen her throw it out. I might not have sent her, but Heather Tarr being aggressive sends Kimmy, and she's stole the base.
And the pitch. Bunt laid right down in front of the plate. Fitu comes up with it and throws right on the money to get Kimmy Pullman. The ball didn't get out in front of the plate as far as you would like as a hitter trying to get on in that situation, and Fitu pounced on it, moved up a step or so she had the angle to first and threw out Kimmy. And that goes 2-3.
One of the reasons it didn't get out any further, Mike, is when Kimmy laid the bat down, it was on the other side of the ball. The ball hit the bat again and kept it from rolling any further.
First pitch to Saling is outside, 1-0.
I'm not sure that Fitu wouldn't have been able to get to it anyway, but it was the bat getting in the way that kept it from getting out further towards the pitcher.
Next delivery, a change, and that one's a little bit outside, 2-0. Infield playing in at the corners for Jen Saling, who singled her first time up. Hit a line drive, kind of a blooper, I should say, down the left field line, landed right on the chalk. The pitch. And that one a called strike, 2-1.
We've seen Jen swing a little bit earlier in counts. Matter of fact, game against Portland State, she swung at the first pitch in an at-bat. Really has been doing a nice job driving the ball, hitting it on the line.
Next pitch to the left-handed hitting Saling, a change, a beauty too, as it's in for a called strike, 2-2.
A little bit high up in the zone, but across the letters. Smokey Eds gives Affleck the call. It's that change that just breaks as well as slows down.
Now the next pitch. That's way inside. So count full on Jen Saling. Affleck has retired 6 straight. His time is being called now. A ball coming out from the BYU bullpen. That'll hold things up, and we'll get back to action here in just a moment. 1 out, nobody on for Jen Saling. We're tied 1-1 in the bottom of the third. The full count pitch on the way from Affleck now, swung on and fouled back. So we'll do it again with the count full.
Here in the third, you look up the scoreboard, and BYU's got the 3 hits with their 1 run. Huskies only have 1 hit. That was that bloop double by Jen Saling. So they have not figured out Paige Affleck yet today.
Again, the full count pitch to Saline. It's a changeup that misses down low, so she'll toss the bat aside and head on down to first base on the base on ball. So the Huskies with a base runner here with one out in the third, and Nikki Williams coming out. You know, I'd like to see Heather Tarr send Saline right here. I bet you BYU is not even expecting that. Saline not as good a base stealer as Pullman, not going on the first pitch, which is down low. But with one out and Saline not as good, maybe they're not thinking that way. You wouldn't want to give up that out, especially with Williams at the plate. But maybe we'd catch him off. Next pitch to Nikki. There's a change up high. And the count 2-0. Williams struck out swinging back in the first. I'll tell you, Saline gets about as big a jump without stealing after the ball is delivered than any player you'll see.
And she's looking right at the play, so she's able to get back if catchers try to pick her off. She's not having the raw speed, but she's a great technical runner.
Swinging a ground ball hit right to the third baseman. Up with it over there, Atungi. She looked to second first, realized she couldn't get the runner there, and then went to look to second first, then went to first to get the sure out. 2 away, runner at second for Caitlin Inglesby.
And Mike, just what you talked about is why there is the reason that Jen's out there at second base. By getting that big secondary lead, she saw the ball hit the ground, was able to take right off. Having already been halfway there, was able to beat any throw that Tonge could have made. If she had gone after Jen, there'd have been 2 runners on.
Pitch way outside. Sally getting way out the base, draws a throw, and just barely got back in ahead of a bullet thrown by the catcher. Feed tube. Man, she's got a good arm, and that's why she throws so many runners out, like you were saying, John.
That was right on it. And Jen was looked like she almost slipped a little bit on the way back, but was able to dive in.
Next pitch to Inglesby. That's a called strike. Make it 1-1 on Caitlin, who walked back in the first to load the bases. Inglesby's been coming through for the Huskies at the plate, in addition to her prowess in the circle. The pitch. Swing, ground ball, foul up the third base line. So make it 1-2 on Caitlin Inglesby.
Caitlin halfway down the first baseline, didn't even bother to drop the bat. It was going to be a foul ball, so I don't want to bend down and get it. I'll just keep it with me.
She wears a mask while she pitches, and then has the face mask on the helmet when she bats.
I think you break your nose once, you're going to protect it any way you can.
Next delivery from Paige Affleck now. That was low and outside. Boy, Caitlin's parents tell me she got hit by that line drive off the bat of Hooch Fagali back in the fall. Not only broke her nose, but she sustained like 40 cracks in like the orbital bone around her eye and forehead.
Amazing.
2-2 now. Swung on. Line drive. That's out into the gap in left center field. Saline will easily score from second. Now Inglesby trying to stretch it into a double. She does, actually. Standing up. But more importantly, puts the Huskies in the lead now 2-1 here in the third inning.
That's just amazing. This kid's a freshman, Mike. Well, as they call them out there now, they're froshmores because they've had a full season in the Pac-10. But as a freshman, just makes great contact, put that ball on a line, got past the center fielder, Jessica Dugas, who was playing deep. When it got all the way to the wall, that's what allowed Caitlin to go into second base standing up. Jen got a great start, was able to score easily. Big hit with 2 outs for the Huskies.
So 2-1 Washington as Morgan Stewart will step in. Huskies still with a runner in scoring position as Inglesby is on at second after the RBI double. First pitch from Affleck bounces in. Ball 1. Stewart grounded out to second her first time up, but it came with the bases loaded, and she was credited with an RBI as Kimmy Pullman came in to score. Next delivery from Affleck now. Change, and that's a called strike, 1-1.
Morgan had a notion, but she was way out in front of it. So she waited, and they just, ball floated in. She didn't swing at it, but it was a called strike.
Now Morgan Stewart having a quick talk with Heather Tarr, the head coach, up the third baseline. trying to get as much out of this situation right here with a runner on in scoring position and 2 out. Boy, you can get another run in this situation right here. It just makes you feel a whole lot better since they just took the lead 2-1. John, anything new in Missouri where that regional's going on?
Well, we get to watch the little people here, Mike, the game tracker, and it shows that it is 1-1, but in the bottom of the 10th, DePaul has, the bottom of the 11th, DePaul has runners at second and third and only 1 out.
Against Missouri.
Against Missouri. All they have to do is, they're the home team, so if they plate a run, then the game will be over.
What's also important about this situation is that the loser of that game will play a third game today. So 2 teams are scheduled to play 3 games tonight, depending on the results of the first 4 games, if they can get them all in. That's weather permitting.
Trying to get them back on track so that the regional will be finished tomorrow.
And we're hearing that DePaul may have just scored. So let's take a look. If they did, that means the game's over, right? You said DePaul's the home team.
DePaul's the home team, and they did indeed just score.
Here's a throw down to second base, trying to get Caitlin Inglesby, who the Cougars think might be a little bit too far off the bag. The score is 2-1 Washington in the bottom of the 3rd. Huskies with a runner at second base, 2 out, and the count 2-1 on Morgan Stewart. Time called now as Heather Tarr is having a discussion with the third base umpire, Ron Burkhart.
So they brought in a pinch hitter. It was a sophomore, Allie Warren. She hit a fielder's choice, and they chose to throw home to try and prevent the run from scoring, but weren't unable to do it. Morocco scores the winning run. DePaul defeats Missouri 2-1 in the Columbia Regional.
So Missouri has to play a third game today, weather permitting. And that means if Missouri does not win that regional, the Huskies, if they win today, will more than likely host a super regional next weekend. But there's still a lot of softball to be played, but the situation is developing nicely for the Huskies.
And Missouri, a good team. You don't count them out. They're on their home field. Played well. They won the Big 12 Conference title this year.
Pitch, a change. That's down a little bit low to Morgan Stewart. She is going to be awarded first base. Second walk of the inning issued by Paige Affleck. The first ended up coming around to score. Be nice if that happened again. Washington now has runners at first and second with 2 out in the bottom of the 3rd. They've just taken the lead 2-1 on an RBI double by Caitlin Inglesby, who's on at second base.
Now we're looking for Shauna Wright to be aggressive earlier in the count. She got behind last time. Maybe she can do something early here.
Ended up striking out swinging. First pitch swinging and fouls one back. It's 0-1. Huskies would love to bust things open here in the 3rd inning against BYU, who has been tough. There's no question about it. The unranked Cougars giving the Huskies a handful here in this championship round to this point. But Washington does have the lead 2-1. Next pitch to right, that's fouled off again. This time a grounder up the first base line, 0-2 on Shauna.
But we did see her be aggressive. And in that first pitch, Mike, she just missed. Got a little bit underneath it, sent it back against the screen. But now she's got to cover the entire plate. And Paige Affleck's had their way with Huskies when she's ahead in the count.
Here's Affleck's next delivery. And that's going to miss outside. 1-2 to Shauna Wright. So often that 0-2 pitch is sort of a waste pitch, just trying to get the hitter to go after something out of the zone.
That one was less of a waste. That was a pretty close pitch. Good eye by Shauna, though.
Affleck to the plate again. Swung on. There's a blooper to second base, going to be caught easily by Della House, and the Huskies are retired here in the 3rd. But not before they take the lead with a run on an RBI double by Caitlin Inglesby, and now we'll go to the 4th with the score, Washington 2, BYU 1.
Trust. It's something that's earned, not given. If you're looking at having some remodeling done to your home, you want to work with a company you can trust. You can't afford not to. You want the services of Marquis Construction Company. For over 30 years, they've been serving the community with complete remodeling and alteration services. They've been earning Seattle's trust one home at a time. That's Marquis Construction Company. Find them in the yellow pages, and remember, they're proud to sponsor UW Athletics.
Youth violence, drugs, and gangs put our entire community at risk. By encouraging our children to participate in positive youth programs today, we'll help them develop the skills they need to become responsible citizens tomorrow. Supervised youth activities can give a youngster the confidence to say no to drugs. A message from McDonald Miller Facility Solutions, where we make buildings work. Find us online at macmiller.com. That's McDonald Miller Facility Solutions, encouraging you to support local sports and youth organizations.
Here we go, the fourth inning. BYU coming to the plate and sending up their number 5, 6, and 7 hitters against Washington, who took the lead in the bottom half of the third. An RBI double by Caitlin Inglesby, and Washington leads it 2-1. Mike Brown here along with John Cowley at Husky Softball Stadium, the host of the Seattle Regional this year. Washington winning their first game over Portland State on Thursday, 6-2. Then they beat these BYU Cougars 4-1 yesterday to move on into the championship round. This is the only regional of the 16 that began on Thursday, so this will be the first one to finish up as well. Weather permitting, of course. Always got to keep that in mind this time of the year. BYU in this regional has been tough. They beat the second-seeded Auburn Tigers 2-1 on Thursday. Then lost to the Huskies yesterday before beating Auburn again last night in a loser-out game 4-3 and earned a spot here opposite Washington in the championship round. So BYU has to beat the Huskies twice today to advance to the Super Regional, while the Huskies just have to win one, and they're on their way to the next round of the NCAA tournament. We're going to keep you updated on the scoreboard throughout this broadcast and make sure you're especially up to date on what's going on in Missouri, where the Tigers, the number 5 seed in the tournament, have just lost to DePaul and will be forced to play a third game today. And remember, folks, the game they just lost went 11 innings. That after they won their first game earlier today. I can't believe the NCAA forces this situation where you might play 3 games in one day. It just seems to be a little too much.
Especially considering that they would have one more day available if needed.
Castian Atungi to lead off for BYU in the fourth inning, swinging a foul. Atungi has been the most dangerous hitter in the BYU lineup here in Seattle this weekend.
No doubt about it. Had a home run off Caitlin yesterday. Also had a home run last night against Auburn.
Next pitch on the way. It's outside. She fouled off the first one, so it's 1-1 on Castian Atungi.
The home run she hit last night came after an error, which put runners on. So it was an unearned run, and yet she still put it out of the ballpark.
Atungi, a right-handed hitter up there. The next pitch on the way, and it is down low. Make it 2-1 on Atungi, who committed an error in yesterday's ballgame. One of 3 committed by BYU. That ball hit right at her. So now Inglesby ready to go back to work with the count 2-1 on the dangerous Atungi. The pitch. And that's in for a called strike. Dropped in there nicely, 2-2.
That error she had, there was runners on first and second. It was a high chopper to third, and she was thinking about grabbing the ball, stepping on third, and throwing to first. And she forgot to do step 1, grab the ball. Everybody was safe.
Husky scored a couple of unearned runs in yesterday's ball game, thanks to some help of the BYU defense. The pitch, a called strike 3. That is a huge out right there, getting Atungi looking for out number 1. Hey, fans, for over 20 years, Mortgage Mart was founded on this concept. Do your best for your customers, treat them like friends, and feel good about what you're doing. A lot of things have changed over 20 years, but the concept at Mortgage Mart has stayed exactly the same. Competitive pricing, low overhead, no extra fees, and a staff willing to go the distance. It's all part of the Mortgage Mart guarantee. So put Mortgage Mart to work for you. Here's a bunt down the third base line, up with it Morgan Stewart, and throws wide at first again, allowing the base runner to head on into second base. And that is not the first, but the second time we've seen Morgan Stewart do that in this ballgame.
And, Mike, that wasn't just on Morgan Stewart, though the throw did go wide. Maggie Wagner, the second baseman, was late getting over to first, and that's why Morgan had to double clutch before she threw. If Maggie Wagner had broke for the bag a little bit earlier, been in position, would have made it an easier play for Morgan. But she was trying to hit a moving target, and after double clutching, threw it wide, got by Maggie, and that allowed the runner to go into second.
Second error of the ball game, charged to Morgan Stewart, and the Huskies were on the top of the fourth inning, and BYU now has the tying run in scoring position with Carly Duckworth coming up. Now, the bottom third of the BYU lineup did not distinguish themselves first time against Caitlin Inglesby. Let's see what happens here as Duckworth steps in. The first pitch down low, 1-0.
Again, we did not see Duckworth in yesterday's game, but she is in the lineup again today, and she was another one. She was an all-conference outfielder. She's just a freshman out of Salt Lake City.
Next pitch to Duckworth now. That one's going to miss inside, made the count 2-0, and a thanks once again to Mortgage Mart for being on our Husky broadcast here in the postseason. Count is 2-0 on Duckworth, the number 7 hitter in the BYU lineup. They have a runner on at second base in Delaney Willard. 1 out, and the pitch. Swing, there's a fly ball right field, back on it, Tuiasa Sopo. She's going to run it down, steps on the warning track to make the catch, and hustles the ball back in. No advancement by Willard, who probably had a shot to move in the third there, John.
I'm sitting here wondering why she didn't tag and go, and I'm not the only one. Looked at Gordon Eakin. He looks out of his runner, raises his hands. Where are you? You should be down here at third base. That ball was hit to the warning track. It was definitely far enough for the runner to advance.
I'll tell you, if Caitlin Inglesby throws a wild pitch to Stacy Graham, Eaton's probably going to come out of his skin. You would have been scoring right there.
He is pretty animated, Mike. That was pretty good Gordon Eakin invitation right there.
He has been a little hot today. At one particular call he wasn't happy with. Here's the first pitch now to Graham, and it's a called strike. (0-1) to Stacy Graham, who flew out the left field. Very much a routine fly ball for the third out of the second inning. Now the next pitch from Caitlin. And that one a called strike. Boy, she's out in front 0-2 and is one strike from getting out of this fourth inning. Good location right there from Caitlin Inglesby. Looked like a screwball that last pitch. Now Shauna Wright gets the pitch call from Cindy Bear Ball in the dugout for the Huskies. See if they can finish off the hitter right here. The pitch swung on a miss, and they do indeed get Stacy Graham swinging for out number 3 and get out of a mini jam here in the top of the fourth inning. We're halfway through this scheduled 7-inning affair, and the score, Washington 2, BYU 1.
Fire sprinkler systems are reliable, economical, and proven to be the best way to protect your family and home. Don't take a chance on losing your home, your possessions, and even your loved ones. Contact Nortec Fire Protection today. With years of experience, they're experts in design and installation of quality fire sprinkler systems. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial applications, they are your solution provider. Contact them at 888-995-9900 or visit them on the web at nortecfire.com.
Many of us are making the decision to stay in our current home, even though it's not quite our dream home. SBH Builders can help. We offer over 50 years of experience in remodeling, additions, and restorations. We provide our valued customers a quality product at a fair price. You can see our work online at sbhbuilders.com. That's sbhbuilders.com. Let us help turn your current home into your dream home. We are SBH Builders, and we're proud to support the Diamond Dogs.
Welcome back. Husky Softball Stadium, the place. Tight ball game going on here between the hometown Huskies and the Cougars of BYU. Huskies with lots of support here. Good crowd decked in purple in the stands. Got the Husky band out in center field playing, and also a 2-1 lead for Washington as they come to bat in the bottom of the fourth inning. The bottom third of the lineup due up: Jenna Clifton, Victoria Hayward, and Maggie Wagner. They did not distinguish themselves very well first time up. All three struck out swinging back to back to back in the second. Hoping to do a little better against Paige Affleck here in the fourth. And the right-hander, Affleck, has the sign ready to go to work on Clifton. First pitch on the way, swung on and fouled back. 0-1 on Jenna. Jenna getting the start as the designated player in the ballgame. Now in her junior season. Looking to get something started here in the fourth inning. The Huskies definitely want more runs. They have the lead, but only 2-1. The pitch. That one way inside. Jenna showing bunt there momentarily. And it was way inside for ball one, 1-1.
Either Whitney Jones got a start in the first game. Ashley Tuiasa-Sopo got the start in the batting lineup in yesterday's game. So now it's Jenna Clifton's turn to try and distinguish herself.
The pitch. Check swing and a pitch that's right at the letters for a called strike at the upper part of the zone. And a favorable call from Smokey Eds, 1-2.
Smokey's been calling that pitch today. He's called it for both sides. Not afraid to call it high.
Next delivery, change, swung on, and just getting a piece of it is Jenna Clifton. I mean, just a piece of it. She may have hit a thread sticking out.
It might have been. It wasn't a very loud tick. It didn't move very far, but it's enough to keep her at-bat alive.
So still 1-2 on Jenna Clifton. The pitch. Blowing outside, checked her swing. Good eye. And we're even at 2-2.
Be nice to get the bottom part of the lineup to fight their way, get on base, put some pressure on the Cougars, and allow the top of the lineup to come with runners in scoring position.
Next delivery from Affleck now, a change. That misses down low. She started off Clifton 3-0 her first time up. Ended up getting her to strike out swinging. Jenna going to have to get the bat off the shoulder right here. Should get a pretty favorable pitch with the count full. Steps up in the box just a little bit. And now the pitch. Swung on. There's a deep fly ball, but foul down the left field line. She got all of that one. It had home run depth, but it was that changeup. She got around on it a little too quick. Sent it out of here, but foul.
That's the farthest I've ever seen Jenna Clifton hit a softball. She tattooed that. That stays fair. It's into the trees on the other side of the road, not just over the fence.
So here we go again with the count full. And the pitch swung on, line foul down the right field line. So she's got a pretty good at-bat going here with the count full. Hanging tough is Jenna Clifton.
Now you just see the confidence. You hit a ball that hard, you square it up, confidence goes up. She's just now looking to see the ball, hit the ball at this point. Don't make things too complicated.
Clifton leading off the bottom of the fourth inning. Washington leading 2-1. Here comes the pitch. Swung on. There's a line drive base hit out in the left field. Kind of a Texas leaguer type for Jenna Clifton, and an outstanding at-bat for her right there to win the battle and get the leadoff single here in the fourth.
Crowd very appreciative. Shows they know softball when you battle like that, come through with a base hit. Nice job by Jenna Clifton. That's how you want to start out an inning here at the bottom of the lineup. Now you can use Victoria Hayward to try and move that runner over into scoring position.
Clifton with decent speed over at first base. Time being called, though, as the catcher, Fitu, wants to have a talk with her starting pitcher. John, any scores you want to update us on?
Well, we look at going through and seeing what the Pac-10. Arizona State is taking on Long Beach in a game that's just underway. Arizona is taking on New Mexico right now. That in the Tucson region, it's actually New Mexico State. New Mexico State won yesterday 9-0 over Texas Tech. And in the bottom of the sixth, it's Arizona 5, New Mexico State nothing. Arizona looking to get through the winner's bracket to championship Sunday in that region.
Victoria Hayward now. First pitch to her, tries to bunt, and a swinging strike as she does not make contact. So the count 0-1 on Hayward.
More Pac-10 action down in Gainesville. Florida beat UCLA this morning, 4-2, moving UCLA into the loser's bracket, the only Pac-10 team to lose. And now it's UCLA taking on Jacksonville, trying to get through to the championship round.
Next pitch swung on. There's a bloop single out into center field off the bat of Victoria Hayward. So back-to-back singles by the number 7 and 8 hitters here in the 4th inning for Washington, and a nice inning developing offensively.
Just what we talked about. If you can get the bottom of your lineup just to find a way to get on base, and that's all they did. They put the bat on the ball and let the ball do the work. Now you've got Maggie Wagner, who's been handling the ball well, bunts very well, move the runner into scoring position. You let your experienced all-Pacific region players come in at the top of the lineup with those runners in scoring position.
So here's Wagner, the number 9 hitter, who I would think undoubtedly will be trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt and, of course, trying to beat out the throw to first base, which puts even more pressure on your defense. And they're going to talk about it. Will BYU in the circle? John?
I got an update. Again, UCLA's in the losers bracket. Jacksonville beat Bethune-Cookman 8-0. UCLA is now down 3-2 in the top of the 4th to Jacksonville. The winner of that game will play Florida tomorrow, having to beat them twice. So UCLA looking on the wrong end of a 3-2 score at this point. In the University Park, Oregon this morning beat Fordham. Jen Minot had 13 strikeouts against Penn State in the first round. Pitched a great game against Oregon, but the Ducks come out on top 2-0. And so now Penn State and Fordham are playing to see who is going to be going through to Championship Sunday to take on Oregon in the winner's bracket there.
Husky faithful voicing their displeasure, as you may have heard in our crowd mic. They think it's taken too long for BYU to bust up the meeting that they have going on in the circle. They finally do, and we are going to get back to action here in the bottom of the 4th. Washington leads it 2-1. They have runners on at first and second, and nobody out for number 9 hitter Maggie Wagner. And now Gordon Eakin coming back out again to disrupt the proceedings. He might be making a change of some sort, maybe a pitching change. We'll see. He did so in yesterday's game late, trying to save the arm of Paige Affleck, I'm sure, figuring they weren't going to win the game and had to play another one last night. And sure enough, he is going to go to the bullpen and make a change. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back after this timeout.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
It's almost barbecue season, and you want to make sure you have the best for your grill. So stop by Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Located in Park Place Center, Tim's Seafood offers the freshest seafood around. Crab, halibut, salmon, Pacific snapper, homemade crab cakes, ahi poke, and more. Plus, Tim's has all the mouth-watering recipes to go with it. Call 425-827-0195 or go to timsseafood.com.
For your next barbecue, remember Tim's Seafood in Kirkland, because friends don't let friends eat farm salmon.
The new pitcher for BYU will be Tori Allman, a 6'1" freshman from South Jordan, Utah. Allman coming into the ball game in relief of starter Paige Affleck with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. Huskies with runners on at first and second. Allman with a record of 10-3 this year and an ERA of 2.88, making her 23rd appearance, and a little bit of a pickle right here with the Huskies threatening. Speed on the base paths, and Maggie Wagner, the number 9 hitter, stepping in. Probably going to be bunting to move along those runners. Let's see. Infield plays in at the corners. There's Wagner showing bunt, but lets it go by as it misses 1-0.
You got to be thinking what Gordon Eakin is trying to do is keep the Huskies off balance. He feels like they're catching up to Paige Affleck or change of pace, back-to-back base hits, bring in someone else to keep the Huskies off balance a little bit more.
Next pitch on the way, a change, and that's in for a called strike. Wagner taking all the way, 1-1. Allman, a right-hander, and a tall one, too, just like Caitlin Inglesby, is 6'1". She's a tall drink of water, let me tell you.
Just a freshman, so obviously the heir apparent to Paige Affleck in this BYU program.
Next pitch to Wags. Takes a stab at it and fouls it off. She's going to be called out, I think, for being out of the batter's box, and on the play, the runners will move up 60 feet each, but I think they might be going back.
No, that was just a strike. What they called it was a strike. She did not make contact. The ball was down in the dirt. There was no contact, so the runners were able to advance. What the fist in the air was the strike call, not the out call. It was a little confusing.
So no sacrifice needed here, as both Clifton and Hayward will each move up 60 feet. They're at second and third, still nobody out. And Maggie Wagner with the count at 1-2, stepping back in. Next pitch from Allman now, and that's going to be swung on. Ground ball hit right side. No advancement by the runner at third, Clifton. So the second baseman, Della House, will turn and throw to first and get Wagner for 3. Everybody has to stay put, but we go to the top of the lineup now for Kimmy Pullman.
And what you wanted was for Jenna Clifton to get a little bit more interest from Della House to give Maggie a chance to get down there, but Della House too smart for that. Look, saw Jenna wasn't going. Quickly turned and made a throw to get the very speedy Maggie Wagner. Good play by the second baseman for the Cougars.
And good idea for Clifton not to try to push it and try to score from third with nobody out at the time. 1 out now as Pullman runs up on a pitch down low, 1-0. Maggie Wagner on her way back to the dugout stopped and talked to Kimmy Pullman to give her a quick little rundown on what to expect from the relief pitcher, Almond. Now back into her line. The pitch. Breaking ball, missing outside. It's 2-0 on Pullman.
And what we're seeing so far from Allman is she does throw the changeup, but does not seem to have the same velocity that Paige Affleck has on the other pitches.
Huskies looking for insurance runs here in the fourth. They lead it 2-1. The pitch. Change swung on. Chopper hit the short, goes off the front of the shortstop. Now a delayed throw home as Clifton, who actually delayed coming home, is going to be gunned down by the second baseman, Della House. Boy, if Jenna had taken off on the contact, she would have easily scored, but wanted to make sure since the shortstop was playing up, and it would have been a close play at the plate. So BYU getting a break right there.
And a good play by the shortstop once she bobbled the ball to regather it and get Jenna Clifton trying to score. So now you've got to come through with the base hit with 2 outs. But you like Jen Saling's chances.
Runners at first and second. The pitch to Saling way up high. That's going to get over the head of the catcher, Fitu. And both Pullman and Hayward are going to advance 60 feet each. And again, the Huskies have runners on at second and third, but there are 2 out.
And now the speed you've got at second and third is just a little bit faster. And if another ball gets away from Fitu like that, Victoria Hayward has the speed to score.
The next pitch. That is down a little bit low to Saling. Make it 2-0 on the Husky shortstop. So Clifton led off with a single to left. Hayward, a single to left center. They advance on a wild pitch, second and third, nobody out, but back-to-back outs. And the pitch. In for a called strike. The first out, a ground out by Maggie Wagner, no advancement by the base runners. And Kimmy Pullman hit into a fielder's choice. Jenna Clifton tried to score after the ball went off the chest of the shortstop Clayton, but was gunned down by Della House on a delayed attempt to score. The pitch. Swung on, chopped foul up the first base line. So the Huskies then had runners at first and second, and both advance on a wild pitch by the relief pitcher, Tori Allman. So second and third again, but this time 2 out. And Jen Saling at the plate. Saling 1 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And the pitch. There's a change way up high, and the count full at 3-2.
Jen's now seen 5 pitches from Allman, so she's got the timing down.
Here comes the freshman to the plate with the full count delivery. It's swung on and missed. There's a throw down to first as the ball was in the dirt, and that will record the 3rd out of the inning, and the Huskies not able to take advantage of a beautiful situation to add some insurance runs. So they get turned away here in the 4th, and we'll go to the 5th with the score: Washington 2, BYU 1.
If you're considering buying a new, pre-owned, or factory-ordered vehicle, consider Chaplin's North Bend Chevrolet. Why? At Chaplin's, we're committed to providing the highest level of service for our customers, being the best without compromise while giving back to our community. We're just what you'd expect from a hometown dealer. Learn our story and browse our inventory online at ChevyOutlet.com or visit us at 106 Main Avenue North. Chaplin's North Bend Chevrolet, inviting your family to be a part of ours.
Do you remember the 1940s? Many of us don't. But there's a company in town that does. It's K.C. Martin Automotive and K.C. Martin Transmissions. Established in 1948. A lot has changed since then, but choose K.C. Martin for your automotive needs and you'll still get the same professional service that folks enjoyed over 60 years ago. Their goal is still to provide the latest in technology, the highest quality, the most affordable rate, and to do it at a minimum amount of time.
KC Martin Automotive Service and KC Martin Transmission at kcmartin.com.
All right, here we go. The top of the fifth inning. Still a 2-1 ball game in favor of the Washington Huskies, who were denied on a golden opportunity to score runs in the bottom half of the fourth. That's got to be a little frustrating. They just can't take it onto the field defensively now, as Caitlin Inglesby will get back to work on the BYU lineup. Jessica Dugas, Christy Delahause, and Tifa Messerschmidt due up for the Cougars here in the fifth, the number 9, 1, and 2 hitters in their lineup. Dugas to lead off, lined out back to the pitcher Inglesby, her first time up. Nice defensive play by Caitlin Inglesby to get the glove down and get that low line drive. Dugas, a good player, turns the lineup over nicely for head coach Gordon Eakin. First pitch to her, and that's up a little bit high, 1-0. Dugas batting .345. No homers, 16 RBIs. She's the leading base stealer on the team, batting in the number 9 position. As the infield playing in all the way around for Washington, with the exception of Salling at short. Now she comes in a little as the pitch is a called strike, 1-1. The Huskies ranked number 14 nationally by USA Softball and ESPN.com. In the other poll, they're ranked 15th by NFCA, National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Next delivery, swung on and missed. And the count now 1-2. BYU is unranked.
This is where Caitlin Inglesby can help her offense, who feel like they let her down by not plating a run in that situation. If she can shut down BYU, Husky can gain a little bit more momentum and try and bring it to the next offensive inning.
The pitch misses outside. So 2-2 on Jessica Dugas. If the Huskies win a ball game today, it will be their 80th victory all time in the postseason.
Wow.
They're 79-34. That includes Super Regional and World Series play. The pitch. And just missing outside again is Caitlin Inglesby. Huskies 52-12 all-time in regional play. Looking for number 53, which would propel them into the Super Regional round this year. They just need one victory over BYU today. The full count pitch, swung on, ground ball hit left side, goes under the glove of Jen Salling, who didn't quite get the bounce right, and that'll be a leadoff single, I'm sure, for Jessica Dugas.
Part of it was also she was shielded by Morgan Stewart, who was looking to make the play. Got under Morgan's glove, and then Jen not able to really see the bounces to make the adjustment and make the play. So Caitlin getting ahead of the hitter, but not able to put her away. BYU showing that they are here in the game to compete.
That would have been a tough play for Salling to complete anyway to get the out, because Dugas has excellent speed, and that ball is hitting the hole at short. So to the top of the lineup we go for Christy Delahause, taking all the way on the first pitch, showing bunt momentarily, but it's out of the zone for a ball, 1-0. So BYU with the tying run on at first base. Good speed, too, and Dugas, who, as I mentioned already, leads the Cougars with 13 stolen bases this year. Delahause at the plate, swings at the next offering, goes to Morgan Stewart. She'll glove it, throw it at second base, and they get the lead runner over there as the ball was hit in the right spot for Morgan to make that decision right away to go to second, and a big out getting that lead runner.
And it got into Morgan a little bit more than she liked. She wasn't able to glove it out in front of her, but she was able to make a smooth transfer to the throwing hand. Maggie Wagner hustling over to cover the base. Strong throw by Morgan. When you've thrown two away, you get a little worried, but Morgan showing that experience of a senior, not thinking about it, just making the right play.
That'll bring up Tifa Messerschmidt. Runner at first still, but one out now. And the pitch on the way to Messerschmidt. Lays down a bunt. Beautiful one. Morgan Stewart coming up from third. Not going to make a throw. And everybody's going to be saved for BYU, who continue to put the pressure on the Huskies.
And that's a throw Morgan sometimes will make, and maybe there it was in her head a little bit. She didn't want to throw it away. Was going to be a very close play. Was probably the smarter play, because if the ball gets by Nikki Williams at first, then it is a tie ball game. Now leave it in the hands of Caitlin Inglesby to try and get the hitter.
Bunt single credited to Tifa Messerschmidt. She's on at first. Moves Della House into second. Great speed on the base pass for BYU and their number 3 hitter, J.C. Clayton. The pitch. And that one up a little bit high, 1-0. Things developing nicely for BYU here in the top of the 5th, trying to tie and maybe go ahead of the Huskies this inning.
Shows you the importance of Morgan Stewart getting that lead runner the last time. So instead of first and third, it's first and second. You still got a force around the bags.
Next pitch to Clayton now, outside. Shauna Wright faking a throw down to second where Della House is. So the count will be 2-0 on Clayton. This is an important batter for the pitcher, Caitlin Inglesby, to get right here, John, because otherwise you then get into the number 4 and 5 hitters.
And seeing Fitu and Atongi come up with runners in scoring position makes you a little bit nervous.
The pitch. And that one gets away from Shauna Wright. Both runners are going to move up as that one's down in the dirt. That'll be a wild pitch charged to Caitlin Inglesby. It'll also move the count to 3-0 on J.C. Clayton. And now the Huskies in a lot of danger right here in the top of the 5th inning. That's going to draw Cindy Ball out of the dugout to have a word with Inglesby.
And this is just what the Huskies don't need. After missing an opportunity to score some runs, have BYU come and put the pressure on. If BYU's able to tie the score, the Huskies, you know, they're going to be kicking themselves from not getting a run across in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Washington had runners at second and third and nobody out in the 4th and did not score a run. There's a little bad luck there, but not able to come through.
And it was the right part of the lineup. You had the hitters you wanted, Kimmy Pullman and Jen Salling, coming up with opportunities to drive in runs and not being able to do it. And that against the number 2 pitcher from BYU, Tori Ullman.
BYU has runners at second and third and one out. The count is 3-0 on the hitter, J.C. Clayton. Next pitch, a called strike. Washington leads it 2-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. Been a nail-biter all the way. BYU scoring first in the top of the 1st. Huskies scored it up, tied it up in the bottom of the inning, then added one on to take the lead in the 3rd. But BYU in a position to tie and go ahead right here in the 5th. And the pitch. Clayton swings. It's a ground ball to Nikki Williams. At first, she's going to turn, shovel to Maggie Wagner, but the throw is not there in time. And on the play, Della House will come in and score to tie up the game. And I think Nikki made a pause in the action there, and that's why she didn't get the out at first.
And it was just a thought of going home, and she was not going to be able to get the out at home. The ball was hit to her just too softly. And then by the time she turned and pitched to Maggie, they said that the runner beat the throw.
So runners at first and third now for BYU. They've just tied up the ball game, still just one out. And the number 4 hitter, Jessica Fitu, up. She is overdue, folks. 0 for 2 in this ball game. Just one hit in the regional. The first pitch to her, lays down a bunt. It's a beauty, too. Nikki Williams picks up. No one's covering first base, and everybody's going to be safe. No run scores as the runner Messerschmidt over at third stayed put. She threatened to come home, but instead the bases are going to be loaded now for the most dangerous hitter in the lineup this weekend, and that's Kastian Atongi. And the Huskies now breaking down defensively, at least mentally.
And with Atongi coming up, there's no room to pitch around her at this point. They've done a good job with her so far today, but this is a very, very dangerous situation for the Huskies. I'm glad they're having the meeting, get on the same page. They've got to keep the Cougars off the scoreboard.
Boy, the Huskies got to get it fixed in a hurry if they're going to keep from falling behind in this ball game. They've already given up the lead. Now the run scored by Della House. Coming in on a ground ball up the first base line, Nikki Williams thought for a moment to come home. Finally went to first, but the throw not in time to get the runner on the play, Clayton. And Jessica Fitu laying down a bunt single. Unless they rule that a fielder's choice, we'll have to wait and see. But one way or the other, the bases are loaded for Kastian Atunge. Now, she struck out looking on both occasions today, but she has been dangerous the entire regional up to this point. The pitch. And that one up. Ball a little bit out of the strike zone, 1-0. She has to pitch to Atunge here. There's nowhere to put her on the base paths. Messerschmidt on at third, Clayton at second, Fitu over at first. The count 1-0 on Atunge. And the pitch. That one a called strike, 1-1.
Atunge not afraid to work the count. Make sure that she was forcing Caitlin Inglesby to come into the strike zone. There is nowhere to put her, as we said.
Inglesby, you're going to have to sharpen up a little bit right here in this battle with Atunge. The pitch. Check swing. Did she go around? They will appeal to the third base umpire, Ron Burkhart, and he says yes, she did. So the count 1-2.
That was one where she got the bat through the zone. It wasn't so much breaking the wrist, but he was able from third base to see the bat get through the plane. Called strike two, huge strike two count. Call for Caitlin Inglesby.
Caitlin ahead in the count now, 1-2. Bases loaded, one out, and the pitch on the way. It's down in the dirt and stopped nicely by Shauna Wright. Otherwise, a go-ahead run could have scored right there for BYU.
Nice job. Shauna went down to her knees and blocked that, kept that ball in front of her, the changeup in the dirt.
Nervous moments right now for Husky fans. A 2-2 game, bases loaded for BYU in the fifth. Still just one out. The count 2-2 on Atunge. And the pitch on the way from Caitlin. It's a change that just misses down low. Atunge got fooled on that one. She was lucky it dropped below the knees to move the count full at 3-2. Something's got to give right here, and the runners will be off on the pitch.
Well, with one out, they might not be off on the pitch because they could run into an out.
Well, selectively, I should have added in there. Here comes the full count pitch. Swung on, ground ball. It's going to get through on the right side. Messerschmidt is going to score. They're going to send Clayton home. It's going to be cut off. BYU now leads it 4-2, and Fitu runs on into third base, and BYU busts through with 3 runs now here in the fifth inning. Still just one out. They lead it 4-2 over Washington.
And BYU doing what the Huskies were unable to do, Mike, and that is when they got the runners on, come up with the base hits behind it. And Caitlin Inglesby struggling just a little bit. She's pitched every inning of this regional, and BYU has seen her through 2 straight games. Now she's got to just find a way to get through this inning, keep the damage down, let those bats come, because Tori Ullman is a pitcher that the Huskies can get to, but they've got to keep it close before then.
Here's Delaney Willard now. The pitch. And that one a called strike. Kastian Atunge continuing to come through for BYU and keep their hopes alive. A 2 RBI, bases loaded, full count single out into right field. Puts the Cougars up 4-2. The next pitch on the way to Willard now. Swung on, infield pop up, right side in foul territory. Nikki Williams.
Dog fans, have you heard? Canines are the newest weapons in the fight against growing bedbug infestations. So contact Pioneer Pest Detection. One dog can sweep an entire room or apartment in just 3 to 4 minutes with 97% accuracy, while a pest control professional may take up to an hour for the same job with just 30 to 40% accuracy. Tired of those bedbugs biting? Well, bite back with canine bedbug inspections and treatment from Pioneer Pest Detection. Find out more and view our brochure at pioneerpestdetection.com.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Are you looking for a late model car, pickup, SUV, or van? Then why not try the James G. Murphy Company Auctioneers? All of our vehicles are sold with no minimum bids or buyer's premium. And our next auction features over 200 late model vehicles. So don't miss this opportunity to bid on the vehicle of your choice. The James G. Murphy Company is located just off Bothell Way on 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore.
For more information about our next auction, call 425-486-1246 or see us on the web at murphyauction.com.
Lewis, I was surfing the web, comparing other airlines' rates to Horizon Air and Alaska Airlines.
Really, Clark, and you're the one who always said...
I know, it's not about the money, I know.
You always said that Alaska and Horizon are our airlines from right here in the Northwest, and we take care of our own.
I realize that, Lewis, but I got
Clark, you always said that the 3 C's matter most.
Convenience, comfort, and quality. I know. I'm just trying to say that the prices at AlaskaAir.com are really low. But you're right, it's not about the money.
On the Clark and Lewis expedition, it wasn't about making $40 a month.
$40? I was paid $30 a month.
And worth every penny.
But
you were like a Horizon or Alaska fare at AlaskaAir.com. A tremendous value that America couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, but...
But it's not about the money, I know.
Yeah, but I...
Look, refills.
Ooh.
Find low fares and great deals on cars, hotels, vacation packages, and more. All in one easy place at AlaskaAir.com.
We're back live at Husky Softball Stadium. We had some technical difficulties, which we apologize for. We will go to the bottom of the 5th now with BYU leading 4-2. The Cougars did score 3 runs, and I believe that happened before we were knocked off the air. The inning was completed with an infield foul pop to first baseman Nicky Williams by Delaney Willard, and then Carly Duckworth popped out to shortstop Jen Selling, and that completed the top of the 5th inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Huskies now trailing 4-2, and they'll have Nicky Williams, Caitlin Inglesby, and Morgan Stewart due up. Well, I'll tell you what, John, things got awful quiet here in the top of the 5th inning after BYU came through, unlike what the Huskies tried to do in the bottom of the previous half inning in the 4th.
But I think what Caitlin Inglesby did a nice job of limiting the damage. All right, they got the 2-run lead. She was able to get the next 2 hitters in the lineup. And now with Tori Allman in there, it's a pitcher who's not quite as experienced, doesn't have quite the stuff of Paige Affleck. The Husky hitters just need to go to work and go chop into this lead. They don't have a ton of outs to get it done, but they are the home team, so they've got that for them too.
Nicky Williams takes a pitch low and outside, 1-0 to the Husky first baseman, who's up there trying to get something going right away against relief pitcher Tori Allman. She entered the game in relief of starter Paige Affleck with nobody out and runners at second and third in the bottom of the 4th inning. And to her credit, she got out of that jam. She got a little bit of help, no doubt about it, but she did get out with any runs scoring. The first batter she faced, Maggie Wagner, grounded out to second. Infield plane in, so no chance for the runner Jenna Clifton at third to score. Next pitch to Williams now. Swung on, one hopper hit at third. Castian up with it and throws to first in time to get Williams 5-3. After Wagner grounded out with runners at second and third, nobody out, Kimmy Pullman came up, hit a chopper to short that went off the chest of Clayton there, but it ricocheted right to Christy Della House. She saw the lead runner Clifton try to delayed attempt to score and gunned her down. Then the next hitter, Jen Saling, struck out, and that took care of the Husky threat. So with one out and nobody on here in the fifth, Caitlin Inglesby will step in. First pitch to Caitlin, and that is in for a called strike, 0-1.
Coach Heather Tarr just not looking worried. She'd seen so many things in this game that she doesn't get too high or too low no matter what's going on. Came in, had a chance to talk to her hitters, gave them a little bit of advice about the pitcher.
Next pitch to Caitlin, high and inside. The key thing is for the Huskies not to get too much down or down at all in this situation, simply because a 2-run lead is very overcomable, I suppose.
Yes.
And if you win this game, it's over. You're moving on.
I think that's the other thing Gordon Eakin was thinking is he's got to win 2 today. And so that's one of the reasons that he took Paige Affleck out. The Huskies were getting their timing down on her. He wanted to save her a little bit in case there is a Game 2. Of course, if there is no Game 2, she doesn't even get that opportunity.
The pitch. Swung on and missed. She got fooled on the change. It's now 2-2 on Inglesby, who's 1 for 1 with a walk in the ball game and an RBI double her last time up. She gets on right here. My guess is she gets lifted for a pinch runner. Next pitch to Caitlin, swung on. There's a line drive right side. Going to go off the glove of the second baseman. That's Della House, who throws late to first base. And Huskies got a base runner with one out here in the fifth. And let's see if Caitlin gets lifted for that pinch runner. She didn't last time, or either time in the ballgame. And now Heather Tarr coming up. She's going to have a talk with Smokey Eds, the home plate umpire. And sure enough, Ashley Tuiasosopo will come on and run for Inglesby over at first base.
And since it's a flex position, they're just swapping. So, again, she's not coming out of the game, which enables the Huskies to make more moves throughout the game.
So Ashley Tuiasosopo, who began the game, defense only. Now getting some action on the base pass, running for Caitlin Inglesby. Morgan Stewart will step in now. Trying to get productive inning going here for Washington. First pitch takes all the way. It's in for a called strike. Nice pitch from Tori Alma.
What Caitlin did on her hit up the middle was she waited on the change and just put it up the middle. Second baseman Della House tried to make a nice play, just couldn't.
Next pitch swung on and missed. Boy, a big sweeping swing from Morgan Stewart that time. Quickly 0-2 on the Husky third baseman.
Allman doesn't throw hard, but after seeing the soft stuff with the changeup, it looks a little bit faster. Morgan unable to catch up with it.
The next pitch, swung on a foul back. Stewart just getting a piece of it to stay alive. Still 0-2. One out, runner at first. Washington trailing in the ball game 4-2. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. BYU putting a 3-spot up in the top half of this fifth. Now the pitch from Allman. Down in the dirt. Make it 1-2 now on Stewart. Huskies hoping to come back and win this game and earn a spot in the Super Regional. If they lose, they'll have to play another one against BYU today. Next delivery now. Swung on and missed, and Morgan Stewart goes down swinging for the second out of the inning.
The changeup for Allman isn't quite the same as Paige Affleck's. Doesn't have the movement, but there's such a difference in the speed that the Huskies way out in front of it.
Shauna Wright now. The Husky catcher awaiting the first pitch from Allman. There it is, and it's low and outside. Shauna 0 for 2 in the game. Struck out and popped out. So she continues to struggle at the plate. Now the next delivery from the tall right-handed Allman. Here's a called strike. I get the letters. 1-1.
Husky faithful not happy about that. A little bit higher than some of the strikes that Smokey Ed's called.
So here we go with the count 1-1. The pitch. Swung on. There's a ground ball into the hole on the left side. It's going to get through for a base hit. So Shauna Wright saying, I'm not ready to quit. Let's get something going here as Ashley Tuiasosopo moves into second base. And with runners at first and second and 2 out, Jenna Clifton's turn to try to come through for Washington.
There's a player making an adjustment, somebody who struggled earlier with the changeup. And her last 3 hits, I think, in this tournament, Mike, or the 2 hits she has in this tournament, have come off changeups.
Put it right in the 5-6 hole on the left side. So now Jenna stepping in against Allman. The pitch up high, 1-0. Clifton singled her last time up. She's 1 for 2.
She also had a foul ball that was almost lake distance. It was well over the fence, but foul by a good 20 yards.
Won a heck of a battle against Paige Affleck. Her last time up did Clifton. Here's the pitch, swung on, ground ball hit left side. And it's going to be Atungi making the glove and the throw to first in time to retire the Huskies here in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. After 5 full innings of play, it's BYU 4 and Washington 2.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview. Like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early. Or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
It's almost barbecue season, and you want to make sure you have the best for your grill. So stop by Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Located in Park Place Center, Tim's Seafood offers the freshest seafood around. Crab, halibut, salmon, Pacific snapper, homemade crab cakes, ahi poke, and more. Plus, Tim's has all the mouth-watering recipes to go with it. Call 425-827-0195 or go to timseafood.com.
For your next barbecue, remember Tim's Seafood in Kirkland. Because friends don't let friends eat farm salmon.
Welcome back. Husky Softball Stadium, the place. Washington trailing in this ball game 4-2 as BYU comes to bat in the top half of the 6th inning. I'm Mike Brown along with John Colley. Glad to have you on board for our broadcast here on 1150 AM KKNW. BYU, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, having a very good regional, and they continue to do so, trying to battle their way into a second championship game. And doing the job so far as they lead at 4-2. They will come to the plate here in the 6th inning, sending up their number 8, 9, and 1 hitters against Caitlin Inglesby. The BYU starter, Paige Affleck, has already been lifted. That coming after 3+ innings. But Tori Allman, in relief, has gotten the job done for the Cougars, shutting out the Huskies in the 4th and the 5th. Now hoping to get some more run support from her offensive teammates, beginning with Stacy Graham, who steps in. First pitch, checks her swing, and fouls one off, 0-1. Graham 0 for 2 in the game. A fly out and a strikeout swinging. BYU has won 32 of their last 35 games. So they're a force to be reckoned with, no question. Infield playing in most of the way around for the Huskies. As the pitch way inside, but no, wait a second. That's over the inside half of the plate for a called strike, 0-2.
She was kind of ducking out of the way because she had run up on it so far, but nice pitch by Caitlin. Break it over the plate.
Graham, a left-handed hitter up there. Facing the right-handed throwing Caitlin Inglesby. And the pitch. Swing, ground ball hit the Morgan Stewart at third. She'll take it in and throw to first in time to get Stacy Graham for out number 1. Hey, fans, you know where Husky fans celebrate? Well, of course, it's the North Lake Tavern. They've been doing it for 57 years. That's where you can find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate another Husky victory. Stop by soon. North Lake Tavern and Pizza, located at the north end of Lake Union. And remember, 21 and older for inside dining at the North Lake Tavern and Pizza House, longtime sponsor of Husky Softball on the radio. First pitch in for a called strike to Jessica Dugas, 0-1 on the Cougar center fielder. We paid a visit to the North Lake Tavern last night. whole bunch of Husky fans getting out there and chowing down on some pizza. Boy, it was good, too. Pitch swung on and missed. It's 0-2 on Jessica Dugas.
That's how you support Husky softball, Mike. You go visit the advertisers.
I counted 23 moms, dads, former players, relatives, whatever out there.
That's fantastic.
About half of the dining room filled up. Next delivery on the way. That swung on. Ground ball hit the Sally at short. She'll go down low to get the ball and throw to first in time. And back-to-back ground outs for the Cougars here in the sixth. We go to the top of the lineup now for Christy Della House.
And that's the kind of defense you're used to the Huskies making. And we've talked about errors coming into this game being what made the difference in games for some of these teams earlier in the region, and definitely has made a difference in this game as well.
Now we got looks like a volleyball or a soccer ball. It's a soccer ball coming onto the field here at Husky Softball Stadium. Ashley Tuiasosopo pick it up, tries to throw it into the stands and didn't get it over the fence.
It's a soccer ball, Tui. You're supposed to kick the thing.
I was going to say, just boot that baby. I think it came over from the field beyond the outfield wall where there's some intramural activity going on over there. Now we're ready to go to work on Della House. First pitch up high, and it's 1-0 on the Cougar second baseman. Cougars hoping to force a second game against Washington here today. Huskies would rather not, but they're going to have to get busy offensively. First got to finish off the Cougars here in the sixth. The pitch. Swinging a foul back, and the count even at 1-1. There are 2 out and nobody on for BYU in this top half of the sixth inning. They lead it 4-2 over Washington. And if they force a second game, BYU will be the home team. Now Inglesby back into her line. The pitch. And that's up high. 2-1 on Della House. The second baseman is 1 for 3 in the game, including a couple of runs scored. Now the 2-1 pitch. Low and inside. Moves to 3-1 now. Huskies have definitely committed their share of errors in this game.
And
mistakes. There's 2 errors, wild pitches, and some poor at-bats as well, trying to get runners in.
Plus the mental errors of looking at home when they should be going and getting the play at first, getting the out that way.
The pitch, and that is a called strike. And we're full now at 3-2. Huskies would like to get out of this top half of the sixth, 1-2-3, and get their offense back up there. Here comes the next pitch. Swung on and missed, and that's exactly what's going to happen as Caitlin Inglesby retires the side in order here in the sixth. We'll go to the bottom of the inning. It's BYU 4 and the Huskies 2.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com.
Remember the 50s? The Northwest was booming, Elvis was king of rock and roll, and locals gathered at Burgermaster for good food and good times. You can relive that golden era at Burgermaster. We're still your favorite old-fashioned drive-in, offering all your favorites: shakes, malts, fries, and the messiest burgers in town. Made with locally grown pasture-fed beef. Masters of the burger since 1952. Visit one of our 5 locations today: University, Aurora, Everett, Bothell, and off 520 in Bellevue.
Don't say hamburger, say Burgermaster.
Husky band continuing to play for the fans here at Husky Softball Stadium. They're out beyond the center field wall, trying to do their best to help the Husky offense get back in gear and at least get even in this ball game. BYU leads it 4-2 as Washington bats in the bottom of the sixth inning. Victoria Hayward, Maggie Wagner, and Kimmy Pullman due up here in the bottom of the 6th. Those are the number 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the lineup for the Washington Huskies. And it looks like we might have a defensive change now. Alexandra Hudson, I believe, is going to be out in right field for BYU, taking over for Delaney Willard.
There's that homegrown product from Everett getting in the game. Alexandra Hudson.
Victoria Hayward to lead off here in the 6th inning. Singled her last time up. The pitch. Runs up on it as it's down low. Tori Allman doing the job in relief for BYU. She took over in a very messy situation in the 4th. Washington had runners on at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. The pitch. That one misses outside 2-0. I think I need to correct myself. I think there was runners at 1st and 2nd, and she wild pitched them to 2nd and 3rd.
Yes.
But the fact is, there was nobody out and 2 on, and she got out of it. Next delivery, check swing, and it's going to miss inside. 3-0 on Victoria Hayward, who undoubtedly will be taking on this next pitch.
Get that leadoff runner here would be huge for the Huskies.
Next delivery now. And that one called strike. 3-1 on Victoria Hayward, who's 1 for 2 in the ballgame. Hayward was the last batter faced by Paige Affleck, the starter. Well, she's getting her first look at Tori Allman. Infield playing in all the way around now as the pitch is going to be down low. A leadoff walk issued by Tori Allman. And that's how things get started sometimes when you're trying to rally. A leadoff walk to Victoria Hayward, who does have good speed, but most likely not going to be stealing right here, John.
Well, not when you're down by 2 runs. She's not even the tying run, so you're not going to be looking at trying to put pressure on there. Hopefully Maggie Wagner can find a way to slap her way onto base instead of giving up the out to move the runner over.
Let's see. Here she does, laying down a bunt. It's a beauty, too. Going to be fielded by Fee, too, who throws the first, not in time. The Huskies got the rally underway here in the 6th. They have the tying runs on base with nobody out in the 6th inning. And we go to the top of the lineup now for Kimmy Pullman.
That move to the left side once again paying off for Maggie Wagner. A beautiful bunt got out where Fitu had to come and field it. And once Fitu's got to get beyond that plate 2 or 3 steps, Wagner's speed able to make her beat it out. Huskies in good shape here in the bottom of the 6th, trying to find a way to come through, get the lead in this inning, then you're 3 outs away from going to the regional.
The go-ahead run is at the plate for Washington with nobody out, and it's their best hitter average-wise, Kimmy Pullman, batting .437 coming into the ballgame. She's 0 for 2 today with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. But the job right now is to make contact or get on base somehow. Allman now looking at the Husky lineup the second time through. Pullman hit into a fielder's choice last time up against Allman. The first pitch to her, and that's going to miss outside. 1-0 to Kimmy Pullman. Good speed on the base paths in Victoria Hayward and Maggie Wagner.
If you want to win this time of year, Mike, you've got to execute. They didn't do it earlier. They've got another opportunity here.
The pitch, swung on, ground ball hit foul up the first baseline. Kind of a weak swing. And Pullman going to turn around and head on back to the plate.
And Smokey Ed saying the ball hit her when she was still in the box, because that was close to hitting her when she was out of the box. And that certainly wouldn't have been a good situation for the Huskies.
The count is 1-1 on Kimmy Pullman. Huskies with runners on at 1st and 2nd and nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Needing to score. They trail 4-2. Time running out. The pitch. There's a swing. Bloop out in the left field. Might drop in for base hit. It does. Huskies going to have the bases loaded here and still nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pullman just kind of stuck the bat out there. It was kind of one of those, it was like a slap hit that kind of went in the air and just dropped right over the shortstop's head out in a shallow left field.
Sometimes you need to be lucky, Mike. She's good. Sometimes you got to be lucky. She was a little lucky there. The ball got in on her. She checked her swing, but it got over the shortstop's head, over third baseman's head, and Duckworth had no chance to get it, and now it's time for Jen Salling to come through at the plate.
Bases loaded. The first pitch to Salling up high. Talk about poking a hit, or poking out a hit. That's what Kimmy Pullman just did to load him up. So 3 of the fastest players on the roster are on base. Bases jammed, nobody out. Good hitter at the plate in Salling, and the next pitch is a called strike. 1-1 on Jen Salling. She's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored in today's ball game.
BYU does have someone up in their bullpen, but it's not Paige Affleck. It's Hannah Howell.
The next delivery, way up high, 2-1 to Jen Salling. They just announced the attendance here at Husky Softball Stadium, 1,181. I think 1,100 at least are Husky fans, hoping for something here in the 6th inning. Washington with a golden opportunity. Bases loaded, nobody out. The pitch. There's a check swing on a pitch that's down low. They're going to call it a ball, but they appeal down to the third base umpire, Ron Burkhardt. He agrees, and it's now 3-1. So Allman has to come in with something right here, or she's going to walk in a run. That means Jen Salling should be looking for something very hittable in this situation. Now the freshman to the plate. The pitch, swung on, ground ball hit right side. Going to be gloved by the second baseman. She comes home to get the force on Victoria Hayward. 1 away, and the bases will remain loaded. Salling did not put a real good swing on the ball right there, and it went right to Della House at second. She came home to get the force.
It was a changeup, and Jen was fooled on it out in front. She was able to make contact, but if she's able to swing through that, she has a chance to pull it into the 3-4 hole. But no, that was a weak one, hit straight to Christy Della House, who was easily able to throw out the runner at home plate. Huskies have to execute, have to come through with those runners in scoring position.
Well, let's see if Nikki Williams can come through and be the hero for Washington right here. 1 away, and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cougars lead it 4-2 over Washington. And we are having either a player change or an equipment change, I believe. Looks like a different glove needed for the second baseman, Della House.
Ran into the dugout and obviously had somehow on that play, she figured out she had the wrong glove on, but was still able to make the play.
So Williams to be the hitter. Number 3 in the lineup, 0 for 3 in the game. Nikki overdue at least today. The first pitch to her, swung on, ground ball hit foul up the third base line. Wanted to go after that first pitch, figuring the pitcher would want to get out in front.
Maggie Wagner did a great job of just stopping in foul territory, making sure that if that ball hit her, she was not going to be in fair territory where being out.
Wagner at third, Pullman at second, Salling at first. Tons of speed on the base paths. Got to get the ball put in play to capitalize. Nikki Williams trying to do that with the count 0-1. Here comes a pitch from Allman. Swung on, blast down the right field line, but foul all the way and out of play. So quickly 0-2 on Nikki Williams.
Had home run depth the opposite way, but unable to keep it within the fair line.
Among the many things the Huskies have not done right today, they have left 8 runners on base in the first 5 innings. They've left 2 in each of the first, third, fourth, and fifth. Got the bases loaded now with 1 out. The pitch. Down in the dirt and blocked nicely by Jessica Fitu to keep a run from coming in. So the count will be 1-2 on Nikki Williams. Washington would love to come through right here, get the lead, and then go to the 7th and just put the Cougars away to win this game and move on to the Super Regional. First things first. The pitch to Williams. Swing, and there's a blast to left field. Will it be over the... It's going to get over the left fielder's head. Here comes Maggie Wagner. Kimmy Pullman is going to be sent home as well. The Huskies are going to tie up the game, and Jen Salling dives in the third ahead of the throw. We got a tied ball game at 4-4 as Nikki Williams comes through with the 2 RBI double here in the 6th.
And, Mike, when that ball was hit, you first think maybe that's going to get out, but then it looked like Duckworth had a bead on it, but it turned her around. The ball hit off the wall. Once it did, that was what allowed the speed of the Huskies to go to work. Maggie Wagner, Kimmy Pullman able to come in. The Huskies tie it up. What's even better, you've got second and third and still just the one out. A long fly ball gives you the lead.
And a young lady who's capable of doing that is coming to the plate right now in Caitlin Inglesby. Boy, what a genuine opportunity for the Huskies to regain the lead at the right time here in the bottom of the sixth. They tied it up 4-4. Have runners at second and third. The first pitch to Inglesby swung on and grounded foul up the third base line. 0-1 on Caitlin Inglesby, who is 2 for 2 with a walk in the ball game. She's also driven home a run with a double back in the third.
The lessons the Huskies learned down at Oregon State that last game, where they came back and scored 4 in the top of the seventh, coming home to roost here in a regional, allowing them to tie up this ball game.
Sure got the fans excited as the pitch is down a little bit low. 1-1. This inning began with Victoria Hayward drawing a leadoff walk. Good eye at the plate as Allman was unable to find the strike zone. And that's how rallies start sometimes, and that's what the Huskies have done. Next pitch on the way to Inglesby, and that's down low. 2-1 to Caitlin.
They're going to be careful pitching to Caitlin. You've got Morgan Stewart on deck, who hasn't had nearly the regional that Caitlin Inglesby has had. But they haven't shown that they're going to walk her. They're just being careful.
Allman back into her wind now, and the pitch swung on, line foul down the third base line. 2-2 to Caitlin Inglesby.
You see a lot of the Husky hitters, Mike, that don't normally do it are putting the bat out front before the pitch and bringing it back. It's a timing mechanism, and because Allman doesn't pitch as fast as Affleck, they've really got to slow their swing down. That's how they're doing it. Kate not able to slow that one down enough.
Infield plane in all the way around, hoping to get a play at the plate to keep that go-ahead run from scoring. The pitch swung on and fouled away again by Inglesby. Washington with runners at second and third. Still just one out here in the bottom of the sixth, so a fly ball could get that go-ahead run in. Saling's on at third with excellent speed. Maybe even a shallow fly ball. They try to score the runner. We'll see. The pitch to Inglesby. Down low, gets away from the catcher momentarily, but not far enough for Saling to come in and try to score. And the count will now be full on Caitlin Inglesby.
And Jen had a notion, but wisely went back to third because that ball did not get far enough away from feet two.
Huskies on the brink of going ahead in this ball game. Here's Allman's full count pitch now, and it is swung on and driven into left field for a base hit. Saling's going to score. Down the left field there, Duckworth loses control of the ball, and Nikki Williams will come in and score. And the Huskies have taken a 2-run lead here in the sixth. They lead it now 6-4 with a 4 spot and still just one away.
She's amazing, Mike.
Inglesby, wow.
Absolutely amazing. She waited on that pitch. Once it came in, drilled it into left field. You knew that Jen Saling was going to score, but there was no hesitation by Heather Tarr. She had the arm going, and Nikki Williams came around, a little bobbled by Duckworth. It wasn't going to matter. Nikki was going to score anyway. It did allow Caitlin to get into second base. Somebody out there in the band, Mike, has this huge W flag, and they were flying it back and forth after the Huskies take the lead here in the bottom of the sixth.
They lead it 6-4. They scored 4 runs. There's still just one out. And maybe just going to try to keep it going as Morgan Stewart will come up with Caitlin Inglesby in scoring position on at second. Good chance we're going to see a pitching change right here as Allman has definitely been figured out by the Husky hitters. And yes, she will be lifted for a relief pitcher. So as the pitching change is made, we're going to take a break and be back after this timeout.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Over 20 years ago, Mortgage Mart was founded on this concept. Do your best for your customers, treat them like friends, and feel good about what you're doing. Things have changed tremendously over the years, but the concept at Mortgage Mart has stayed the same. We care about you and want you to save time and money. Competitive pricing, low overhead, no extra fees, and a staff willing to go the distance. It's all part of the Mortgage Mart guarantee. Put us to work for you. See us online at mortgagemartloans.com.
Well, the third pitcher of the ball game for BYU will be Hannah Howell, a 5'3" sophomore from Winfield, Louisiana. We saw her in the ball game yesterday when she came in to the ball game in relief of starter Paige Affleck. At that particular time, I think head coach Gordon Eaton of BYU was essentially saying, all right, we're not going to win this one. I want to save my starter for the second game I got to play later tonight. And sure enough, Affleck went out and beat Auburn. Here's Howell now to face her first batter, Morgan Stewart. Who swings a check swing and fouls one off. 0-1 on Stewart. So Hannah Howell in the ball game for BYU. A right-hander now coming to the plate with a pitch that's low and outside. Throw on down to second where Inglesby is. That seemed pretty unnecessary at this point. Hannah Howell, 4-2 overall this year. Her ERA is 2.73. She's making her 26th appearance of the season. Washington with a 6-4 lead now. The pitch changed, swung on, and missed. And Morgan Stewart is behind in the count, 1-2. Huskies scoring 4 runs here in the 6th to take the lead. They were down 4-2 after the Cougars scored 3 runs in the top half of the 5th inning. And things are looking pretty grim there. Next pitch on the way. That's over the head of the catcher, feet to, and Inglesby's going to head on down to third, and she gets in just ahead of the throw. Down to Atongi.
Mike, we asked why she doesn't always get lifted for a pinch runner. Well, we see why. She's not afraid to take some chances, and like you said, eats up a lot of real estate with those long legs.
I think, too, it's a little bit of a reward. It's like, hey, you hit your way on base, go ahead and run.
I think that's part of it, too. Keep you in the game.
The pitch. That's in for a called strike 3 on Morgan Stewart, who goes down looking for out number 2 of the inning. And Shauna Wright will come up and hit.
I think Morgan was not looking for the – she got the change of pace she was expecting, but Howell, like Affleck, is able to bend it in for a strike.
First pitch to Shauna Wright. Swung on and fouled back, looking ahead to the top of the 7th. When the Huskies will need just 3 outs to complete this victory, BYU will have the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters up. So it ain't getting any easier, really.
They've got the right people up, that's for sure, and they've proven that they can hit. Caitlin Inglesby, they've already put up a 3 spot in an inning so far.
Next pitch to Shauna, swung on, ground ball hit right at third, goes off the glove of the third baseman, Atongi. That's going to allow Inglesby to come in and score another insurance run, make it 7-4 in favor of Washington, as Shauna Wright will be on at first after the error.
And we talked about it, defense, defense, defense. The Huskies righted the ship, played some great defense there in the top of the 6th. The Cougar defense failing them, already 2 errors in this inning, and those cost them another run right there.
7-4 Washington. And Marky Krieger Zier will come on and run for Shauna Wright. So, MCZ getting in the ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Washington has now scored 5 runs in the inning and lead it 7-4.
BYU has shown one thing today, Mike, and that is that they have come to play. They aren't going to give up, so it's going to take a good, solid inning by Caitlin Inglesby and this Husky defense if they want to go to the regional winning this first game.
Inglesby on the bench right now, probably getting her glove ready to go when the Huskies are out here in the bottom of the 6th. Jenna Clifton up there now. Pitch low and outside. Clifton, the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the 6th. It all started with Victoria Hayward earning a leadoff walk. Maggie Wagner with a beautiful bunt single to put runners at first and second. And then Kimmy Pullman just poked a single in the left to load them up. Swing and a miss by Clifton. Jen Salling then hit into a fielder's choice to force a runner at the plate. And then Nikki Williams delivered a 2 RBI double to tie up the ball game. Then Caitlin Inglesby with an RBI single to put the Huskies in the lead, 5-4. They've since added a couple of runs. Williams came in to score the 6th run on the single by Inglesby as the left fielder Duckworth lost control of the ball. Next pitch swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. The final Husky run came when Shauna Wright, well, first, a wild pitch by Howell allowed Inglesby to go from second to third. And then Shauna Wright hit a ground ball to third, mishandled by Atongi. And Inglesby came in to score to make it 7-4. Next pitch to Clifton swung on and fouled away. And the count remains 2-2 on Jenna, who's 1 for 3 in the game.
Shows if you hit the ball hard, Mike, good things can happen. And when Shauna Wright hit that, it was on the button. Wasn't going to be an easy play for Atongi. She was back even with the bag, though, and bounced twice. She should have been able to make it.
Here's Howell's 2-2 pitch to Jenna, swung on and lifted foul down the left field line and out of play.
Jenna, last couple of at-bats seems to get better as the at-bat goes along. She's able to get the timing because each one of these pitchers throw differently. They all have changeups as their featured pitch, but they throw different speeds with their other stuff.
Again, the 2-2 pitch, a change that just misses high and outside. I just looked at my watch, John. This game is 2.5 hours old. I feel like I've been here about 45 minutes. There's been so much going on.
Well, a lot of action. You see 17 hits on the board, 5 errors. That's going to lead to a lot of action, but it does seem quicker than that.
The pitch, swing and a miss, and the Huskies are finally done here in the 6th inning. But it was a big inning, no doubt. They scored 5 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error, check that, 2 errors, and a runner left on base. The Huskies are 3 outs away from moving on to the Super Regional round. We'll tell you if they do it when we go to the 7th with the score. Washington 7, BYU 4.
Fire sprinkler systems are reliable, economical, and proven to be the best way to protect your family and home. Don't take a chance on losing your home, your possessions, and even your loved ones. Contact Nortec Fire Protection today. With years of experience, they're experts in design and installation of quality fire sprinkler systems. Whether it's commercial, residential, or industrial applications, they are your solution provider. Contact them at 888-995-9900 or visit them on the web at nortecfire.com.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9 Digital HD3 Seattle.
Do you remember the 1940s? Many of us don't. But there's a company in town that does. It's K.C. Martin Automotive and K.C. Martin Transmissions, established in 1948. A lot has changed since then, but choose K.C. Martin for your automotive needs, and you'll still get the same professional service that folks enjoyed over 60 years ago. Their goal is still to provide the latest in technology, the highest quality, the most affordable rate, and to do it at a minimum amount of time.
KC Martin Automotive Service and KC Martin Transmission at kcmartin.com.
All right, Washington needing 3 outs to move on to the Super Regional round for the 4th year in a row. The Washington Huskies leading it 7-4 over the BYU Cougars, who have been, well, they came to play. That's all there is to it. You got to play a full 7 against this Cougar team if you're going to win. The Huskies did it yesterday and really being pushed to the limit today, and now in position to finally finish off the Cougars here in the 7th. But BYU will have their number 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up here against Caitlin Inglesby. The first of which is Tifa Messerschmidt, who they've not gotten out yet, at least at the plate. She's 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. The second baseman has been tough, no question about it. She's a left-handed hitter that's going to step in there against Caitlin Inglesby. Ready to go to work. The first pitch swung on and slapped foul, 0-1. Messerschmidt came into the ball game batting .333. No home runs, 9 RBIs. Singled in the first, walked in the third, singled and scored in that 3-run fifth that put BYU in the lead at the time, 4-2. Now Inglesby back into her line. Here comes the pitch, and it is a called strike. So getting out in front of the hitter, 0-2. That's a good sign.
Caitlin certainly seems to, when her team responds offensively, she has that ability to come out very focused on her half of the inning to do the last part in the circle.
Infield playing in everywhere but at short. It's Messerschmidt. Not a power hitter by any means. The pitch swung on, ground ball hit. That's going to be backhanded by Maggie Wagner. Turns and throws the first as a 180, but can't get the ball there in time. She did everything she could, but Messerschmidt put the ball in the right spot, has decent speed, and BYU has their leadoff hitter on board here in the 7th.
Well, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy. It's a tough part of the lineup. They haven't got Tifa out all game long, and there she is getting on base, giving the Cougars some life here in the top of the 7th.
Here's J.C. Clayton, who also has not gotten out yet. 2 for 3, also got on by way of an error. The pitch swung on, grounded foul up the third base line. Well, I tell you, it's been a great ball game despite all of the what could be perceived as poor play. I mean, in addition to the 5 errors in the game and all the runners left on base, we've had probably 4 or 5 wild pitches in this game. But the scoring and I think the nail-biting atmosphere is what's making it so good. Next pitch to Clayton, and that's low and outside, 1-1.
And the fact is that players on both teams are putting bat to ball, which create the opportunities and makes for an exciting game. This is what postseason softball is about. You get 2 teams, and these are both 2 very good teams. Anything can happen.
Count is 1-1 on the shortstop, Clayton. The pitch slapped at and missed. And the count 1-2. It's a great time for the Huskies to get that first out with a runner on at first.
And Caitlin, once again, doing a nice job getting ahead of the pitchers. Hitters now has to find a way to put them away.
Clayton, the top hitter, average-wise for BYU at .368 coming in. The pitch slapped at and lined foul. And the count will remain 1-2. Morgan Stewart made a diving attempt, couldn't get it.
The way the Cougars have played today, Mike, it reminds me a little bit of how Arizona State looked when they came in, where throughout the lineup they're just putting the bat on the ball. They're not ripping it into corners. They're not hitting balls off of fences, but they're just making contact and making the defense work.
Crowd rallying behind Caitlin Inglesby, who delivers a pitch that's slapped at and fouled off again. So good battle going on between Clayton and Inglesby. Inglesby undoubtedly will be seeing Castian Atungi, unless the Stars line up right and they get a double play somewhere, or a base runner leaves early or something like that. Next pitch to Clayton now. Swung on, ground ball hit right side. Williams will take it on 2 hops, put the tag on Clayton for that sure out number 1. On the play, Messerschmidt moves into second base. 1 away, and here comes the cleanup hitter, Jessica Fitu.
But that run at second base means nothing, and Nikki Williams knew that great pre-pitch preparation. She wanted the out. They'll trade bases for outs at this point. They'd trade runs for outs at this point. So she got the out, and did not worry about the base runner.
Here's Fitu now. First pitch. Swings, hits a line drive, goes off the glove of Morgan Stewart out in the left field. Going to be gloved by Victoria Hayward there, who hustles the ball in, and BYU now has runners at first and third, and the potential tying run coming to the plate, and it's none other than Castian Atungi.
She has hit 2 home runs already in this regional play, so we know she has the ability to do it. And Shauna Wright going out talking to her pitcher, walking her through how we're going to approach this at bat. Morgan Stewart almost made a wonderful play, and if she's able to glove that, she'd be able to throw out the runner no matter how fast, because the ball got to her in a hurry. But it went off her glove, and BYU, knowing that first run isn't going to do them any good, kept the runner right there at third. Why get him thrown out at home?
So here's Atungi. Again, in a critical situation, she came through last time with a 2 RBI single. First pitch to her. High and inside, 1-0 to Atungi. Struck out looking her first 2 times up today. But then, coming through with the 2 RBI single in the 5th. That tied up the ball game at that point. Now the pitch. That's down low. Actually, it put the Cougars in the lead.
This is one time the Husky defense is playing deep, all around out in the outfield, wanting to make sure they keep that ball in front of them. Batongi gets one up in the air. They'll be able to make the play.
First and third, one out. We're in the top of the 7th. Here comes the pitch. And that one is a called strike, 2-1 on Kastyan Atungi, the third baseman, who has definitely hurt the Huskies in this ballgame. She also homered off of Caitlin Inglesby, leading off the 5th yesterday. Didn't really have much of an effect of the final score as Huskies won 4-1. They were leading 3-zip at the time. Now the next delivery. There's a change up high, and the count is 3-1. I almost wonder if you put Atungi on base. I mean, really you don't. You kind of pitch to her, but
you don't want
nothing good at all.
The tie-and run.
Next 3 hitters, they are a combined 0 for 9 against Caitlin Inglesby in this game. And then you throw in the number 9 hitter who's 1 for 3. That's 1 for 12 in the ball game. So these next 4 hitters in the lineup have had almost no success against Caitlin Inglesby today.
And you go back what they did yesterday. Willard was 0 for 3, and Graham was 0 for 1. Dugas was 0 for 2, and of course Duckworth did not get an at-bat yesterday against Caitlin Inglesby.
Pinch runner now for Kastyan Atungi over at first base. It's going to be Lancey Millett, who we saw in yesterday's ball game. She represents the tying run, and she is one of the fastest players on the team. The bases are loaded with 1 out. So the Huskies, on the positive side, have a force everywhere and also have hitters due up now that have not been able to touch Caitlin Inglesby. Delaney Willard is the first to come up. She's 0 for 3, got on by way of an error. After laying down a bunt, Morgan Stewart fielded and threw wide of first base. This is where the Husky defense really has to come through.
And again, they can trade runs for outs at this point. If BYU scores a run, they get an out. Well, you're down to your last out. So if the play's at home and you can make it, great. But if not, make sure you get an out somewhere.
First pitch on the way to Willard. That's a called strike, so Inglesby getting out in front. That forces the hitter to swing the bat in most cases. Husky all outfield playing rather deep.
And I think it's just the point in the ball game. They're, again, trying to keep the ball in front of them and not let a runner score from first.
Next pitch. Down low, 1-1. And the white knuckle affair continues here at Husky Softball Stadium. Huskies lead it 7-4, which in most cases is a comfortable lead. But now the bases are loaded for BYU.
And BYU has been scrappy all day.
1 out in the pitch. Down low again, 2-1 to Delaney Willard. Willard struck out swinging in the 2nd.
And you know,
got on by way of an error in the 4th and then popped out in foul territory her last time up.
Kate's coming in to get a part of the plate here. She doesn't want to go 3-1 to a batter who hasn't got a hit off her yet.
The pitch. Swung on. There's a line drive off of Inglesby. Going to be gloved by Sally. She'll throw to first, get the out as a run comes in to score. Very important there as Inglesby took one right off the body somewhere. Where did it hit her, John?
It looked like it got her in that shoulder. She does turn to the side, as you said. Looked like the ball hit her on the shoulder. She was able to, she went down. You could tell it hurt, but Jen Salling made the play, got the out, and all I saw afterwards was Caitlin Inglesby pumping her fist, happy to get that out. It hit her, unfortunately, it was on the pitching arm. She's trying to get that feeling back into the hand, so if you're going to go up there and pitch, you want to make sure that you've got feeling. And Whitney Jones has been warming up in the Husky bullpen. Not sure that we're going to want to see her. Brianna Walker heading out there right now.
That was a sharp line drive off of Inglesby's shoulder. So she took a shot. There's no question about it. There are now 2 out in the top of the 7th. A 7-5 lead for Washington as a run came in to score. And BYU with runners on at 2nd and 3rd. Inglesby getting a nice round of applause from the Husky faithful. And they allow her to take a couple of warm-up throws before she gets back to live action.
Well, if you've been hit in the face and broke your nose, and you see a ball coming back at you like that, it just makes you cringe. Fortunately, she cringed the right way. Ball glanced off her shoulder. Jen Salling just made an outstanding play by picking it up and able to throw the runner out at first base. The Huskies, again, traded the run for the out, but now just 1 out away from advancing to the Super Regional.
And leading 7-5 here in the 7th and hopefully final inning. So Inglesby continuing to get some warm-up throws. I'll tell you, the Huskies have really relied on this young lady down the stretch and now here in the regionals. She's delivered at the plate, she's delivered on the base paths, and she's delivered in the circle. Just taking that shot, a line drive off the bat of Delaney Willard, who ultimately was thrown out. Officially 1-6-3 is how that ground out goes.
And now the Cougars do have the tying run in scoring position. And so it's going to be vital that Caitlin Inglesby finds a way to get Carly Duckworth.
Duckworth 0 for 3. She's hit the ball in the air all 3 times today. A couple of fly balls to left and a pop out to short. Huskies will take that right now. Here's the first pitch to her. It's up high. Boy, Inglesby, what a performance in this regional. A freshman on top of it.
All guts and a lot of talent.
At the plate today, 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a double and a walk. Here comes her next pitch. It swung on. Ground ball hit the sail line short. This could do it. Throw over to first base is in time, and the Huskies finally put away BYU, a scrappy team, and win the Seattle Regional of the NCAA tournament by the final score of 7-5. Wow. What a performance by BYU, but what a performance by Caitlin Inglesby to move the Huskies into the next round of the tournament. For the BYU Cougars in the 7th, 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left on base. The final score, Washington 7, BYU 5. Back with the final totals after this timeout.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
For 57 years, Diamond Dog fans have chosen North Lake Tavern as their meeting place of choice. Where else can you find all your favorite beverages, pizza by the pound, and an enthusiastic group of staff and friends waiting to celebrate the next Husky victory? Stop by tonight. Please remember, 21 and older for inside dining. North Lake Tavern Pizza is conveniently located at the edge of the West Campus, the north end of Lake Union.
Find them online at northlaketavern.com. Let's go, dogs.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview. Like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early. Or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
It was anything but easy, but the Washington Huskies softball team has prevailed here at the Seattle Regional of the NCAA tournament. They defeat BYU by the final score of 7-5 and will move on to the Super Regional round against the winner of the Columbia, Missouri Regional. We'll get you updated on that in a little bit. Huskies have a chance of playing at home in the Super Regional round. But first, the final numbers on today's ball game for Washington: 7 runs on 10 hits. They had 2 errors and left 9 runners on base. For BYU, 5 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors, and 8 runners left on base. The winning pitcher in the ball game, Caitlin Inglesby, wins her third game of the regional and improves to 25-8. The losing pitcher in relief was Tori Allman, whose record is now 10-4. 1,181 were in attendance here and saw this lengthy game go 2 hours and 45 minutes before it was completed. There were no home runs hit in the ball game. For BYU, the record, they finish up their season at 40-18 as their season comes to an end here in regional play in Seattle. For the Huskies, they're now 37-14 overall. They win this regional, and we'll wait to see the result of the regional in Columbia, Missouri, where fifth-seeded Missouri is the favorite but is in the losers bracket, trying to get back to the championship round and win a couple tomorrow and earn the right to host the Huskies there. If Missouri does not win that regional, the Huskies will almost undoubtedly be at home next weekend to host the winner of that regional in Columbia. They have announced the Seattle Regional All-Tournament team, and the MVP was none other than Caitlin Inglesby. She was just amazing. I don't have all the final stats for her outside of the fact that she won all 3 games for the Huskies in the circle, but she was outstanding at the plate, batting over 800 for the regional. Also named to the team from the Huskies, Jen Salling, Nikki Williams, and Maggie Wagner. From BYU, Castian Atangi and Paige Affleck, their starting pitcher, and also from Auburn, Kelsey Cartwright. Once again, the final score, Washington 7, BYU 5. Back with more on the post-game show after this timeout.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. This old saying is especially true when it comes to auto and truck parts. At Budget's Truck Wrecking, they feature quality auto and truck parts at great prices. They also pay cash for your junk cars. Whether you need an engine, transmission, tire, battery, brake drum, or rotors, you'll find it at Budget Truck Wrecking. Visit them in Auburn at 3602 A Street Southeast, or find them online at budgetautorwrecking.com.
Budget Truck Wrecking. We buy cars that you don't need and sell cars and parts that you do.
Since 1950, Sound Oil Company has built a reputation as a leader in the heating oil industry. Their prices and service combine to give you the best value when it comes to home heating oil. What you may not know is that Sound Oil is also a leader in air conditioning services. For complete sales, service, and installation of energy-efficient air conditioning units, you can trust Sound Oil. Find them online at soundoil.com. Sound Oil Company, keeping you comfortable year-round.
Remember when the game was played by guys named Joltin' Joe and the Babe? Those were the good old days of baseball and of customer service. Back then, you knew you'd get honest car repairs from your neighborhood mechanic. At George's Eastside Shell in Kirkland, you still can. They have 30 years of experience in all phases of automotive repairs and tires, too. Visit George's Eastside Shell at 13272 100th Avenue Northeast in Kirkland. Good old-fashioned auto repair from your neighborhood mechanic. That's George's Eastside Shell.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
All right, back live at Husky Softball Stadium, a jubilant place for Husky fans as they all file out of the ballpark, knowing that their team has won 7-5 over BYU and have earned a spot in the Super Regional for the 6th time in Heather Tarr's 7 years as the head coach of the Washington Huskies. And, John, it was exciting to say the least. I mean, it wasn't over until that final out settled in the mid of Nikki Williams over at first base on the ground out to short. And I'll tell you what, BYU is one team that you have to take seriously, no question about it.
Total respect to BYU. They were scrappy. They beat an SEC team, so it says they knew what they were doing to get here. But the Huskies managed to hang in there and grind it out. That 5 spot in the bottom of the 6 certainly looks pretty.
Let's get an observation from the field as Kimmy Pullman, the Husky center fielder, has joined us in the broadcast booth. Young lady, we're going to have a heart attack one of these days if you get
You're telling me. Shoot, I was out there playing and I was a little nervous.
Wow, what a comeback, though, in the 5th. How about the bottom of your lineup? Victoria Hayward, Maggie Wagner getting it all started before you came up.
Yeah, they did a great job of seeing some pitches and kind of doing what they really wanted to do, and did a great job of loading up the bases. That's what their whole purpose was there for. They're not going to hit a 5-run home run to send us into the lead, but they can set the table to kind of get our meat of our lineup up, and they did a great job of that.
What can you say about Caitlin Ingles?
Oh, my God. She's a champ. She's just unreal.
I mean, when she took that line drive off her shoulder there in the 7th, you're probably thinking, oh, my God, poor young lady.
I saw ice on the hand. Was it the hand or the shoulder?
I think it hit her in the hand. I think so.
It was hard to tell.
Who knows? She's
pitching hand or glove hand?
Pitching hand,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
She took it like a champ. It was unbelievable.
I want to know, talk us through that ringing line drive you hit in the 6th.
Yeah, I really got all of it, didn't it? Yeah, that was probably the best hit I've had all season. She kind of jammed me up and in. I just kind of took my hands to it. And, the game is all about, pluses and minuses. And, you might hit a screaming line drive to the center fielder and they'll catch it. And then you'll hit a dinker like that. And, it goes in as a line drive in the book. So just got to take them when they come.
You take them any way they can get them. And they were playing back, so that certainly allowed you to load the bases, which led to that big inning.
Yeah.
And I don't want to rain on your sunshine, but I think you guys all know that there were some things you could have done a little bit better in this game because you had your opportunities offensively. There were some errors, wild pitches, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But, postseason's all kind of about working out the kinks and moving forward from there. So, we definitely learned a little lesson today. And routine defense, it'll win you games. So we just got to keep going and look forward to our next opponent.
Wow. I know. I'm just glad we're moving on. That's all I can say at this point, too. Kimmy, great job out there today. Thanks for coming up.
Of course.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Kimmy Pullman, Huskies center fielder, joining us here on our post-game show after Washington wins it 7-5 over BYU and moves on to the Super Regional round. John and I will be back with more. In fact, we're going to check on the regional in Columbia, Missouri to see what's going on because the Huskies play the winner of that regional. We'll do so right after this timeout.